driving it. He was caught again last week. This time, police had his car towed and took his plates and keys. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Attention homeowners, MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. It's solar with battery storage exclusively by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Superior Court of Guam Judge Michael Bordallo yesterday set a $250,000 cash bail for 53-year-old Paul Santos Mafnes Jr., who was arrested on Saturday in connection with the kidnapping and sexual assault of a 10-year-old girl in Tamuning last Thursday. According to court documents, Mafnes kidnapped the girl on her way to school and sexually assaulted her at gunpoint in an abandoned Tamuning parking lot. Mafnes was arrested Saturday after he was identified in a photo lineup, and according to the magistrate complaint, he admitted that he was involved in the kidnapping and had inappropriately touched the child. He told investigators that sexually assaulting female minors is an addiction of his that he cannot resist. Assistant Attorney General Sean Brown told the court that Mafnes' conduct is some of the most egregious that he has ever seen as a prosecutor. He pointed out that Mafnes had already spent 18 years in prison for a similar case that occurred in 1999, and for those reasons, the people are asking for $250,000 cash bail, said the prosecutor. Mafnes appeared at the magistrate hearing yesterday in Superior Court via closed-circuit television from the Aganya detention facility where he remains in custody. A $5,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for shooting a pet dog in Dededo. A Dededo family is seeking the public's help in locating the person responsible. David Silva said the family's 8-year-old blue Doberman named Sumo wandered off on Friday morning and was later found shot dead less than 200 yards from their home on Lily Street in Dededo. A veterinarian who examined the dog determined that the wounds were caused by bullets from a small-caliber weapon fired at a location on the dog's body intended to kill the dog. In a statement to the media yesterday, Guam Animals in Need President Cyrus Lur said, "We remind everyone that it is illegal to shoot a dog, and the only exception is if you're defending your life or livestock against a vicious animal." Anyone with information about the dog's death is asked to call GPD's Dededo precinct at 632-9808 or Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. We'll have more news after this.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2019 as National Earth Month with the return of our Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Join us on Saturday, April 20 at the Aganya Shopping Center from 3 to 5 p.m. and vote for the best mascot display. Second place wins $250 and first place wins $500. The 2019 Upcycle Mascot Showdown is brought to you by the Aganya Shopping Center, Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty, Underwater World, Sylvan Learning Center, Family Finance, Buddy's Home Furnishings, Gumamon the Guamster, and Bull Empire.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamam. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Island tourism officials are gearing up for a surge in Japanese arrivals at the end of this month, when more than 11,500 visitors are expected to arrive during the Golden Week holiday. At a news conference yesterday, GVB President Pilar Luguaña said this will be the biggest Golden Week that we've ever experienced, and she called on the island community and local businesses to prepare for the increase in Japanese visitors. Golden Week is a collection of 4 Japanese national holidays that usually lasts 7 days. This year, however, Japan has extended the length of the holiday to 10 days in celebration of Crown Prince Naruhito's ascension to the chrysanthemum throne when his father, Emperor Akihito, steps down on April 30th. Golden Week this year runs from April 24th to May 5th. Vendors interested in taking part in the 75th Liberation Day Carnival Island Fair can pick up packets at the Mayor's Office of Guam starting today, or you can find the bid package online at the Mayor's Council of Guam website. The Mayor's Council issued a release yesterday saying they're looking for vendors who can offer games of skill and chance, as well as food vendors and other vendors who sell plants, souvenirs, balloons, and trinkets. The annual carnival is scheduled to begin about June 3rd and run through August 5th. The carnival is expected to last 60 days this year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
I got partly cloudy skies this morning, Kevin, with isolated light showers. Easterly winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing 10 to 15 miles an hour overnight. Highs around 88 degrees, overnight lows of about 77 degrees. I can't tell by looking whether that means it's getting warmer or hotter these days. It just feels hot. Sunset tonight, 6:34. The sun came up this morning at 6:07. And, yeah, that's all I got for the day forecast to give you an idea of what things are going to be like in the very, very near term. We'll take a look at the weather radar, and Michael Knight now will interpret what he sees on that blue screen.
Yeah, radar is showing a few showers moving through. Light showers up here. Heavier stuff actually down to the south, but I think that's where it will stay. That's just moisture in the intertropical convergence zone, and it'll stay down there. Just little ripples of energy moving through the trade winds that give us this kind of rain. It will be kind of a cloudy drive to work, which might be okay because the sun's coming up right now, and that'll keep the sun out of your eyes. Checking satellite here, we can see that there's just not a whole lot going on as far as the clouds over our area. The stuff is down to the south. The blobage down to the southwest, it's really nothing more than just an enhanced area of convection. It's not designated. There's nothing going to form there. That's what we're looking at for at least the near term. All the surge stuff's going to stay up to the north of us, not getting any more of that, and just little bits of energy in the trade wind flow.
Okay, well, let's get some energy on the radio here. It's 6:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, they place roots. The GCC Votech Class of 79 is back. Join them on April 27th at the Onward Beach Hotel for a night of dinner, dancing, skits, and reminiscing. It's been 40 years since graduation, so take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime chance to relive the memories. There's also a memorial mass on Friday, the 26th, at the Santa Teresita Church. Be there at 5:30 for candle placement in honor of classmates who've gone before. Tickets for the reunion on the 27th are on sale for $40 a person. For details, find Connie Kittigwa St. Nicholas at 488-6108 or Kathy Diaz, 777-3243. Viva 79ers! Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the guys over at Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. The guys at American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. King's Restaurant, with the Lenten menu still out there, still available. They've consolidated all their great seafood into one great Lenten menu for Lent. And while we've got just a few more days, you've got a few more days to run over there and give it a shot over at King's. And Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for specialty care needs, and Cars Plus, where they're driven by you.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, it's captivating our interest here in the studio. We've got a variety of things to look at when we're looking at when I'm looking at things here in the office. And I don't normally you can see what what I'm doing on the screen, but we've got other screens here in the studio that I look at. One of them in the very far left of your Facebook Live right now, you can see one of them is playing Sky News, and the breaking news, and it's been breaking for a while, is the fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Been raging now for a while, and I don't know what's going to be left after they are finally able to get this thing under control. I don't know what's inside that they'll be able to save. The roof and all of the wooden parts apparently are gone by now. Still don't know exactly what happened. The earliest reports when I started looking at the internet this morning indicated that it was caused by some kind of electrical damage having to do with the renovation that was ongoing in the building. I don't know. Sometimes you get the early reports and it is exactly what it is, and then sometimes when you've got the light of day all of a sudden streaming down, maybe it will look like something different. To keep an eye on that particular story. But hey, nothing burning around here. The theme for today's program is the roof. The roof is on fire. We don't need the water. And then I just kind of ... because I think anybody that used to go to the clubs back in the 80s and early 90s probably knows all of the remaining words to that particular line here. My name is Ray Gibson. Welcome to the Ray Gibson Show. Our phone number is 888-8255-888-TALK. And Michael Knight, who's got nothing better to do, will answer the phone and very politely say, yes, do you have a question or comment for Mr. Gibson, and maybe get you on the air. You might have a question or comment for him, and he'll be able to riff on that with you on the phone for a little bit. 988-5874. That's 988-5874 is our WhatsApp number, and the WhatsApp number actually got some a little bit of a workout this morning. I can play the audio if we're ready to play some audio here of a phone call that we received from Officer Paul Tapau about 10 minutes away from 5 o'clock this morning. Yeah, we've been here a while. We've been awake for a while, but Officer Paul Tapau called in a WhatsApp message to us.
For day, all concerned, the Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division is currently investigating a serious traffic crash that occurred in Route 2 by 2 Alpha and Agate. Please be advised, we are going to utilize the northbound roadway as it will be closed for traffic investigators. Motorists are asked to seek alternative routes and to expect delays. I will keep you guys posted. This is still developing.
And that was the last message we got from him regarding this particular deal. I don't know exactly what happened down there just yet. Don't know what's involved, but they indicate that there are going to be some problems. Getting out to getting out of Agate, 2 Alpha is the intersection where you come down from Marine Corps Drive. You're heading south. You hit the Big Navy, and then you make that turn. Pizza Hut's over there. That's 2A, and apparently there is an accident down there. If you are near the scene, do me a favor. WhatsApp me with what you can see now that the sun is up. 988-5874. That's 988-5874. They're suggesting alternate routes, and we will go ahead and suggest those as well. Hit me with the cheers.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
There it is. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. Ismael Velez. The first one out there. John Ray Tight to know. I got Cousin Teddy from the ranch, and Ismael says, Targaryen Tuesday. Is that a reference to Game of Thrones? Nate Horns on says, thank God Monday is over. We found our way into Tuesday. Rod Rosgrino, Albert Eliason is online. Renee Diaz Punzalan from Los Angeles, California. Well, she's not from L.A., but she's watching the program from L.A. as well. I see Heather Perez is online. James Howard. John Raids is saying, Buenos Zen Hoffaday. Tinelton Nelson Mori is online. Hi, Pam Duval. Joe Blas says, good morning, and Hoffaday, Ray, and the crew. What else is going on? Lillian Cruz, there. Beautiful rain clouds, east side, according to Ted, and he can see them real well because the backyard is facing the east side. That's nice. Lynn Vince Borja Polino online. Oh, hello. Is it Friday yet? Little early, guys. Little early. You gotta have milestones. You got to have milestones. I've noticed. I got in the car this morning and I was looking at the trash. I was looking at the my GSWA trash deals over on the side, and I thought, do I need to put these out yet? And it is no, because only Tuesday. They come for my trash on Wednesday, so that's one of the milestones that I've got in the middle of the week. Wednesday is trash day, and when I hit Wednesday, I know I'm getting closer to Friday. There's Charlene Marcia. So Ken LG, the other Governor Leon Guerrero, is online. I see Jeff Pleadwell's up and at him this morning. Lillian Cruz saying, good morning, Ray. Kevin and Michael, sad about Notre Dame. Yes, it is sad. Get there in time to save the dirt. You can't imagine. I mean, this thing's been lurking around since the 12th century. Can't imagine what Paris would be like if there was no Notre Dame. Hey, and that got me thinking. I know that there's a bunch of people. My friend Arlene just came back from Paris. Total European tour, and it's possible that you and I might know people in Paris right now. Right now, do me a favor. If you know somebody that is in Paris, as we are speaking, as this fire is burning, send me their contact information, 988-5874. That's my WhatsApp, 988-5874. And we'll see if we might be able to reach out, A, to find out if they're okay, and B, are they keeping track of what's happening with Notre Dame?
If they're awake, it's the middle of the night there.
Oh, come on. Notre Dame is on fire. You'd be awake. That's something that you'd stay up for. Say, hey, I was in Paris, and I watched it from the beginning to the end. I mean, this is a major disaster. I'm not saying terrorism, but, if the Notre Dame goes down, it would be the equivalent of watching the Trade Center go down. And I think that's why there's the majority of all the news video cameras on the planet are trained right now on the Church of Notre Dame to see exactly what happens and if it does, in fact, go down. Who else is there? Ed Massey is online. I see Mark Cruz. Renee Logie is online. There's your champion marathoner with me in the program. Good to see you. Happy to start the morning with you. Eunice Mendiola and Mark Mendiola is there as well. Bob Lozanima, Juanita Machi, Nate Horn. Tell that to Judge Berdalio. Oh, must be reference to the story involving my brother's dog. Nick Perlowski is out there. Cheryl Ochai. I see Randy Kruger. Vaughn Lujan. Gabby LG. Nice to see you. Anita Muffness standing by for Valentine's Eyes. There they are. Hello, Patty Santiago. Mo Cotton is here, so I guess we can get started. Isaac Banks says, I got good news. Oh, that's the guy out in the East Coast. Ken LG sent me a link. I'm going to click on that in a second. Shelly, Big Sister Shelly is there. Rick Leone, Isaac. Carl, T.C. Gutierrez. Hello, Gov. Nice to see you there. Alex Affligui is online. I see Mika and Pat and Norma Jean Flores. Good to have everybody playing around on Facebook Live this morning. 6:22 and items in the table of contents. Yes, there could be more than one or two items lurking around the table of contents. Rod Buds Delisai is hanging out. Just managed to get in here. Yeah, table of contents. Tough front page here. $250,000 bail in the kidnapping case, a story Nick Delgado started following in the Guam Daily Post yesterday. Paul Santos Mafnas, 53 of Manilao, making his appearance by remote control and closed circuit in the courtroom yesterday. $250,000 worth of bail in that case. And maybe the most disturbing quote I've seen attached to a criminal sexual conduct story is this one here. Mufness allegedly told investigators that sexually assaulting female minors is an addiction of his that he can't resist. Get this weird Silence of the Lambs thing, Is it just the guy he's so into what it is that he does, his sin. It's just one of these stories, and you wonder what needs to get done around here. And I'm thinking that this guy needs to get put down. And then I, remember, there's not much of a capital punishment town around here.
Well, they just need to drop him into the general population of DOC and then tell them all what he did.
The jungle justice will take care of things, and I imagine that there might be some of that going on now. But that
just got out after 18 years.
Yeah, he apparently knows how to work his way around that system. So I don't know. The similar cases that he has been convicted of out there, and so I was thinking about chemical castration, and if
chemical. No.
You want the real thing.
I just want, yes.
Or this is-
Something dull and rusty.
Yeah. Well, it's a cruel and unusual punishment. Unfortunately, is a part of the way things work around here. There's a law on Guam about chemical castration. Came out years ago. 33rd Guam Legislature, Public Law 33-67, Guam's version of these measures, brainchild of former Senator Brant McCready, enacted into law in 2015. I'm reading from a story that came out in the Guam Daily Post in 2017, where John O'Connor was writing about chemical castration as a means of controlling these guys, had still not yet been implemented over at the Department of Corrections. Quoting Lemerena at the time, we are currently working on the policies and should have a draft shortly, he said. I would speculate by the end of September. It said 2017 now. We have not assessed how much the program would cost to implement, inclusive of the cost of medication. Once we approve the draft policies, then we can work from there to address the funding needs. And apparently this is another one of these bills that comes out of the legislature, gets signed off by somebody, and there's no money attached to it. Here we get this great law, and we'll talk about chemical castration. We'll really put the screws on these guys to make it so that it would be more difficult for them to perpetrate crimes like this in the future, but then didn't throw any money behind it to actually fund a program where they bought the drugs or whatever it was that was going to be required to reduce the body's production of testosterone, which is associated with sexual arousal. It did not pass the legislature unanimously. At the time, there were a number of dissenting voices, among them then Speaker B.J. Cruz, who said the measure doesn't do much to address the underlying issues involving addressing violent tendencies. Sexual assault isn't about sex, Cruz told the Post. It's about violence, and no chemical can change that. Failing to address its real cause is dangerous, and the consequences of our mistakes can last a lifetime. Unfortunately, it's not the consequences of any of these mistakes. The consequences of not even trying, apparently, with this guy. They got a hold of Dr. Juan Rapadas, buddy of mine, who said in August, the bulk of his work, this August 2017, bulk of his work involved family violence, and that sexual violence stems from similar desires for power and control. Treatment for sex offenders is lacking in the nation, he added, but this challenge is compounded by some offenders' unwillingness to accept responsibility for their behavior. And this is the sentence that the story about ends on, because I think it's the one that makes the most sense. Think about it. Is this the best that we have in society? We either lock them up for the life or chemically castrate you, or that's it. That's the end of it. I don't know. I hope there is a bigger, deeper, longer conversation. The 53-year-old man stalking a 10-year-old little girl. And then certainly kidnapping. He's admitted to inappropriate touching, not necessarily rape. This is going to be an interesting case to watch all the way through. 6:27 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number around here. Hey Rico, it's good to see you there. I got Viv Cunningham online this morning, and always good. Pam Duvall says it plainly, just like Mike does. Cut off his chili, and maybe that will send out some kind of a message. But again, this is not downtown Iran.
Yeah, but you say cruel and unusual punishment. How cruel and unusual was the punishment the 10-year-old child suffered?
I'm not suggesting that they're equal. Okay,
I'm not either.
And one is the thing that he did to the 10-year-old girl, obviously cruel.
If it was his first time, yeah, there might be some sense of a need for some leniency, counseling, whatever. This dude just already did 20 years for the same thing and got right out and did it again. Yeah. And, as far as the punishment part, they do that and they make bulls into steers in Texas like that all the time. It's very quick, very painless. Just, zip, that's gone.
Yeah. Well, you'd want to do it on television, I imagine. 6:28 in the morning, 888-825-5888.
On the radio, man. It's got to be live on our show.
We get the Facebook Live. I don't know. There are a bunch of other things on the table of contents. Also, front page news, and certainly front page in my family. We'll disclose here. There's a story about a pet dog. His name was Sumo, and Sumo's a good dog. Knew to bark at me whenever I came to the house, but he was a member of the Silva family, and that's my brother's dog, and so I got skin in this game, and my brother's got a $5,000 reward out for anybody that can get some information that leads to the arrest and conviction of whoever it was that shot Sumo. Sumo had gotten out of the fence, and as all curious dogs do, and Toby's are among the most curious, said, I'm going to go for a walk, and went around the neighborhood a little bit. Was apparently on his way home, but somebody with evil intentions capped him. And that's the end of that story there. We were all devastated. We'd gotten the message that the dog was lost. And so everybody's, trying to go look for the dog or send the word out on Facebook and the social medias that the dog was missing. They found the dog, and unfortunately, Sumo had already been dead. Again, if you have any information, if you saw something, say something. Call the police department up in Dedido, or they're wired already, to see if they can take some information on that. Bottom of the hour, and time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: the Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division investigating a serious crash early this morning in Agate. It happened on routes 2 and 2A about 4 a.m., according to GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau. No word yet on any injuries at this time. Details have not been released. Drivers are advised that northbound lanes will be closed off as police conduct their investigation. Motorists should expect delays and are being asked to seek alternate routes. Speaker Tina Munya Barnes has introduced a bill that would allow 2 health care plans to be selected by the Government of Guam Health Insurance negotiating team instead of just one. Both would be recommended to Governor Lou Leon Guerrero for a final decision. Bill number 94-35 proposes to amend the current law, which currently requires the selection of only one health insurance plan offered by just one company. According to the current law, that one plan must be the most economical and beneficial health care insurance proposal submitted by the competing health insurance providers. Barnes's bill also defines what most beneficial means. It means, according to her bill, a plan that provides a broad and comprehensive network of medical providers both on-island and off-island, as well as a plan that meets the required minimum benefits and offers reasonable and sustainable rates. 30-year-old Jared Joseph Pangilinan has been arrested on allegations of inappropriately touching a young girl over the course of years. According to the magistrate complaint, police responded to a criminal sexual conduct allegation at a local elementary school on Friday. The 10-year-old girl said Pangilinan had been touching her since she was in first grade. The girl recounted an incident that occurred just last week. She also recalled an incident last year when she alleged that Pangilinan assaulted her when she was asleep. Pangilinan has been charged with first and second-degree criminal sexual conduct. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Hey, it's 6:32 in the morning. That's iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about push-to-talk mobile and internet plans just for you.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster carbonara or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
If you're around the southbound intersections of 1 and 2 Alpha, watch out. Might need to find some alternative routes. Police on the scene and checking out an accident that occurred early this morning in the 4 o'clock hour. We got word that things were going to get shut down for the investigation, so watch out there. Don't see a whole lot snagging up north of it right now. As take a look at the traffic gizmo up around Jigo. Nothing doing on Marine Corps Drive. Should be smooth sailing all the way into the downtown Agutnia area if you want to do that long drive. Heck, it looks like it's all the way straight shot all the way down to Petey if you want to. Route 4 looking good. Route 10 looking good. 8, 10, and 16 is all clear right now. You know why? Because A, it's early. It's only 6:33. And B, It's spring break. There's nobody else on the road except you and the cops right now. 6:34 in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Lent-friendly burgers at Chili's. Indulge in a selection of our famous burgers with a black bean patty. Black bean patties combine beans with onions, parsley, bell peppers, and cilantro. Served with dill pickles and fries. More Lenten entrees include the spicy shrimp tacos, Cajun pasta with shrimp, or grilled ancho salmon. Best of all, each entree is just $15 and comes with a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Our fresh house salad with an entree for just $15. Chili's 3 for Me Let menu. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, all kinds of comments coming in on Facebook Live. Randy Kruger wondering out loud, all firearms are supposed to be registered. Think about that, and I would think GPD could figure out who shot Sumo. I'm asking, I see Cousin Troy's online, so I'm kind of curious what Cousin Troy's thoughts are on that on the kidnapper guy with the assault charges, $250,000 bail that he's facing right now. Probably not, thankfully, not going to be able to come up on with any of that dough. Good morning, and from Rico Blancaflor there. Lynn Vince Borja Polino says, forget chemical castration. I say go full-fledged Lorena Bobbitt on him and use a dull knife. No shortage of that kind of advice here to those in charge of justice on Guam, huh? Anybody else got some thoughts? No, don't even try to save him. If they close 2A, the alternate route is Cross Island Road. Yeah, I get that. And et cetera. There are a couple of other things in the table of contents that I thought I'd start with. You know, I got to start with the heavy news on some days, just because this one has got all kinds of people scratching his head, where he'd already been in done time and out running around Tamuning area looking for little girls. Father of a girl. Yeah, that's why this kind of just kind of irks me. And thinking about maybe there's got to be something stronger, something better we can do. And then you get the crazy stuff. You start hearing from people in some of the far left parts of pop culture in 2019 that seem to be encouraging pedophilia of some kind. It's strange. That's one of the reasons why I think that wandering around too deep in Twitter and parts of social media, just not the right place. I did get a little bit of social media time, and I'm going to try to make it through this without any kind of spoilers, but Game of Thrones did not disappoint yesterday. I got home and put some soup on. And then I closed my eyes for my mid-afternoon nap. And I woke up and I said, what am I going to do now? I'm trying to figure out what I was going to. And then I remembered it's Game of Thrones. And I remembered I have Hulu at my house. And I remembered that Hulu has HBO on it. And so I went into opened up the app on my smart TV, and there it was. Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1. Press the button. New intro. Same music, but they got new intro animation, so it was worth watching the first time. And then it was about, an hour worth of the sweet reunion, wasn't it? Nobody... Yeah, I got to be careful because I don't want to lay out too much other than it didn't disappoint. I enjoyed watching it. There were a few parts that I thought, wait a second, I need to go back. So I'd watched the whole thing and went back to a couple of parts of the show just to make sure that I heard what I heard and they said what they said. No, all right. So I'm not unhappy with it. But this is the part. This is the part of where we are here with television and movies and series in 2019. And generally, if you get hooked on a show, you should be able to go from one episode to the second episode. Right? So many, Netflix does that with so many of these shows that they have, where you got, here's an entire season. And there's a part of me that is wondering, how come they didn't make the season 8 all at once? So you could start with episode number 1. And see about Jon Snow and dragons. And then after it, you go to episode number 2, and they won't let you do that. Apparently, we're going to have to wait a week before we get to the end of all of that. Oh, darn. Anyway, so Game of Thrones, like I said, didn't disappoint. I got a few other people online that are feeling exactly the same way. Now, I told you yesterday about a friend who had suggested that if I watch Game of Thrones by myself, that's somewhat pervy. You know, in the context of today's headlines, maybe it's not such an interesting topic to talk about. But I did get the question. She said, did you watch it alone like a pervert? And I said, come on. There was like one part that was semi-pervy, but that was it. But for the rest of it, it was all, like I said, sweet reunions and adventures with dragons, and then it got to be the end, and they gave you just enough of a cliffhanger at the end of it, so you know you're going to be there for season 8, episode number 2, when that one finally comes out. 888-8255-888-TALK is the phone number around here. Vanessa, Augustin, Judikpa. I got Dave Torrey online. Cousin Tommy Barcinas is there. Rudy Magallanes. Now Rudy yesterday. And I wasn't able to check out your theory. Rudy told me yesterday that there is apparently a $50 minimum on orders over at Jollibee. And I said, that can't be right. I go, why? Now, why would they do something like that? It's that busy over there. Are they trying to discourage people from just coming in and standing in line and crowding the place up if you're not going to order anything more than a couple items and a soda? And I thought, no, that can't be right. He said to call. So maybe later on when things get a little quieter here in the morning show, maybe we'll do that. Just reach out and talk to somebody over at Jollibee and find out if it's true that there is a $50 minimum. I said, nah, what business would do something like that? You're trying to attract as many people in your inaugural week and a half or so. What kind of business would put some kind of a minimum order on Chicken Joy and sweet spaghetti? And then I remembered, hey, this is Guam. And people can sometimes be capable of doing and saying very matopping things. I'm one of them. So it is not outside of the realm of possibility that happens. I watched it by myself in the corner of my coffee shop is what somebody's replying to when it comes to watching the show. John Ray, that's what he says. I watched it by myself in the corner of the coffee shop. Did you get any of those yes moments? I thought it was nice when Ariana got up with Ariana. Is that her name? I finally got to see John and what's the girl's name? Aria. Yeah, when Aria finally got to hang out and see Jon Snow again, I thought that was a sweet reunion. But I tell you what, I liked it better when she got to see the Hound again. I thought that was a stellar moment in the program. So here's a couple of other things that are moving around on the table of contents. So we'll get some. Before I'm going to forget. So yesterday I told you about this time that we were going to have the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee coming to the radio station, and as it turns out, that would have been impossible because her airplane didn't land until yesterday at 4 o'clock. So she's on Guam, touchdown. And in fact, has already tweeted about the tragedy that is the Notre Dame Church in Paris, and a couple of other things, which may begin the conversation when she gets in. Ought to be about 7:30 or so. The idea is that she's here, obviously, build up some love, rally support for the Republicans and their national quests. In fact, going to be speaking before the Chamber of Commerce today over at the Hyatt about Guam's role in national political policy. I didn't realize that we had any. So when she gets in, I'm going to specifically ask her about that. But she's got some other things that I thought were very, very interesting that obviously we'll share. There's a doctor in town. If I printed out some of the stuff that he's going to be doing, get your life back. Learn how to live sharper, leaner, longer, and better in 30 days or less. There's a 4-night free admission, life-changing seminar presented by Dr. David DeRose, board-certified internal medicine, preventative medicine, practicing physician, award-winning best-selling author, syndicated radio host, lecturer, and researcher. And he's here going to talk about, I don't know, how you're going to feel about, and maybe things that you can do right now that could have an impact on your life. Improve your mental performance and reduce your risk of dementia. That's scary in our age group, isn't it? As you get to be 50 plus, and you start thinking about all these things that grandparents and great grandparents had to deal with. Prevent common causes of arthritis. Decrease your risk of killer diseases like heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and cancer. Shed excess pounds. Enhance your physical performance. Decrease your risk of visual impairment, and more. It's a community outreach brought to you by Guam SDA Clinic. And so if it's SDA, you know that it might be worth listening to. It doesn't sound like one of these fly-by-night herb salesmen. And it doesn't sound like, what do they call that? Medicine show, I don't know. Anyway, so we'll talk with him about 8:30 or something like that this morning. The trick here is, and what I'm most interested in is maybe get Dr. David DeRose's thoughts on maybe some of the therapy that he wants to talk about, combined with CBD therapy, combined with medicinal use of marijuana, because it's Guam, and I think it's an interesting and fascinating topic, and deserves a little bit more conversation with people that might be in the know. And if you got a doctor in front of your name, the chances are pretty good that you might be in the know. Hey, are you thinking about... yes?
Dr. Mike recommends that you just smoke weed and drink beer.
Some people would say no on the beer.
Just man, I don't even have time for people like that in my life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but for some people, it's Dr. Jack or Dr. Jim, as in Dr. Jim Beam. I used to know a guy swore by that, and as it turns out, it didn't actually help reduce any of his symptoms. He was just drunk all the time, and he didn't care one way or the other. Anyway, 6:45 in the morning, and there's a lot seemingly going on with the carnival these days. My understanding is that the third draft of the Games of Chance and the House of Cards thing has gone through. I reached out to Jimmy and wanted to talk to him about that yesterday, Senator Jimmy Moylan, but he said, I'm going to wait until the committee has had a chance to review it and decide what it is, whether it's something that they're going to ratify, something that they're going to adopt, and then he would have some kind of a comment on it. No point in talking about it until it's done. But the mayors are moving forward with their plans for other vendors, and in fact, vendors will now be able to do their packet pickup, as it were, over at the mayor's council, and be able to see what the prices are, what the booth prices are going to be, and dates and applicable times and things like that. I did get a note from Danielle Kaburi, and she works over at Big Fish. And she is in charge, I suppose, of beating the drums for the Mayor's Council and the 75th Guam Liberation. And so she sent me a thing that says, if you want to, swing by the Governor's Complex in Adelup Wednesday from 10 to 10:30 for a press conference on the 75th Guam Liberation, and they will talk about the official theme, 75 years. I hope they put some serious thought into the theme for our liberation festivities. Reveal the logo. We got a logo. We got a logo for this. That means that there are going to be T-shirts. Is there going to be swags? Is there going to be stuffs? And announce the event schedule, upcoming giveaways, and the official communications channels. And I presume that Danielle is going to be among the communications channels. Not a bad thing. She's one of my favorite people over at Big Fish. So that's coming up in the calendar. So that's something to look forward to in the next couple of days. The reveal of the logo for the 75th. Dude, this Guam, we'll throw a parade for anything. Did you see how many people were excited about the reopening of the swimming pool? They got the governor there. They got Auntie Lou to the Aganya swimming pool for the official ribbon cutting of the thing. The swimming pool is open after months of being closed and repairs being made to different plumbing parts of the systems. We've finally got the thing reopened. Thank God. It was an act of God that we were able to will the thing back into swimming pool nest. Found a way to pay a $500,000 water bill to GWA, and the rest is history. So we're going to find Richard Ibanez, maybe in the beginning of the liberation festivities. Maybe we'll put him in one of those convertibles with the beauty queens, right? There you go. I mean, there's got to be some kind of reward for being able to fix the Aganya swimming pool after all of this time. But as I said, we'll throw a parade for just about anything. Got a new logo for the 75th liberation festivities. All right. Let's figure out who's responsible for that and put them in the front of one of those convertibles at the Liberation festivities. 6:48 in the morning. Is there more on the table of contents? My buddy Jim Brooks sent me an email, and the email enclosed in the email, and maybe you've seen it as well. From time to time we'll do some shopping over at Payless. Why is there no octopus at Payless? This is like the second time I've gone to Payless looking for octopus. It was a get together with some friends on Friday, and I don't cook many things, and a lot of times you just want to be able to walk in with something that feels like a snack, and I like to be able to make some good octopus kelleguen, some good chessa with octopus, and my go-to octopus place is Payless. And I haven't seen any there in the last couple of times. If anybody has any good ideas on where to get besides Payless, it just needs to be cooked. It just needs to be cooked because I don't know how to catch octopus. And I know how to cook it, but my recollection is it stinks to the high heavens, and I don't want to do that to the house, and I don't want to do it to the neighbors by cooking it outside. But if you know where I can find some Gibson that's already been cooked, put it on the Facebook Live, or better yet, send it to the WhatsApp, 988-5874. That's 988-5874. Anyway, so Jim Brooksy sends me a thing from Payless. It's a picture of the, what is this here? It says... Thank you very much. It is a picture of the Payless's new policy with regard to cashing checks. And I've done that once upon a time. I've done the process of going over to the place and cashing a check only in case of emergency, like the bank is already closed. But I don't generally need to do that so much because I got a little card in my wallet that goes in ATM, and I don't have to cash an entire check. I just need $20 for vinegar and octopus. So this is not a service of theirs that I'm going to miss. But apparently, all Payless markets, effective the 10th last week, will no longer accept company payroll checks, government checks, cashier's checks, or U.S. postal money orders. Unfortunately, it says the increase in fraudulent checks on island has prompted this drastic measure. We'll continue to honor our current policy on MCB check cashing only. And MCB, for those of you that uninitiated, MCB was one of these companies. You signed up with them, and they gave you a card, and it wasn't like a guarantee card. It just meant that if you had the card, MCB was pretty familiar with you, and they knew that you had money in whatever your checking account was. So they, you could present an MCB card along with a check, and generally that would get honored in the form of a purchase or some kind of a check cashing deal. But this does not surprise me at all, given some of the headlines that we've seen of these grifters that go out there and get their hands somehow on some kind of check and will take it to these little mom and pop stores and say, yeah, I'm cashing this for my friend, and walk out with $350 worth of cash, and the lady at the store left holding the bag with nothing in it.
$350.64.
Was that the number?
Yeah. 64 cents is what they always have.
Man, what's all that about? So that's among the bigger stories out there. It's going to be harder and harder. But I've got a checking account with in fact, I've got a couple of checking accounts with a couple of the financial facilities that you will hear advertised on this program from time to time. I like to spread my nothing money around. And I, honest to goodness, cannot tell you when the last time I wrote a check on one of these accounts was.
I don't even use checks.
It might have. You remember when we had that party over at the beach?
Yeah.
A few weeks back, the little get together we had. I wrote a check then to the company because it was easier for me to write a check for $250 than to go to the ATM and get $300 in cash out, because that meant that I'd blow $60. I'd blow the other $50 on booze or something like that. So I figured it might be safe to just write a check out to these guys. So that's what I did. But that's a more and more a rare occurrence. Everything else is done with sending a note out from the bank. Whatever the online banking thing is, I'll send a note out and tell them to make the payments and stuff like that. Can I tell you what I screwed up last week? Or not last week, actually. Apparently I screwed this up about 3 weeks ago. In my zeal to ensure I've got GTA for my internet at the house. And really love the plan. Very inexpensive. Gives me all the bandwidth that I need. And near as I can tell, I hope they're not checking where I'm surfing. But anyway, so I used that, and I set up the account. Apparently, I set it up initially, so it took money from my checking account automatically. They paid themselves, and then out of one of these days a few weeks ago, I thought, am I paying them? I looked on my payer list, and I didn't see their name. And so I set up another payment to them every month. So I've got like a $200 credit with these guys. I'm trying to figure out which one of the two I'm going to shut off. Otherwise, hey, dude, I got credit with you guys. Maybe they might come in this morning to pick up a phone. But if I got enough credit with them, maybe they can kick up my bandwidth or something like that. Give me higher speeds or faster data somewhere. And there's 6:54 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Other items in the table of contents, Easter egg contest. Remind me to go over the schedules for those a little bit later on because it is Holy Week around here. I don't know if it's Holy Tuesday. Do we get into Holy Tuesday at this point? Find me a Catholic. And then there's Holy Wednesday, Holy Thursday, Good Friday.
It's Monday, Thursday.
Monday, Thursday, and then eventually it's going to be Easter Sunday. You can tell Easter is coming up because of all of the advertising going on for brunch places around here.
You know, the mainland is not really all that Catholic. So before getting to the Philippines, I had never heard of Monday, Thursday.
Monday.
Yeah, Monday, Thursday.
No, Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about it, but I don't know what it is because it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's a big deal over, and of course, it's the Thursday before Good Friday. So, you know, that's the day where supposedly they were doing all the celebrating in the streets and, you know, through the palms and all that sort of thing, I guess. I don't really know for sure. Somebody that's actually Catholic could probably tell us.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not. Here's the thing is, wait a second. I'm looking. I'd asked about where to get some Gibson chamorro for octopus, but it needs to be cooked. Cousin Teddy says Barragata Heights, the Palawan fish store, and it's fresh there. Unfortunately, he spelled Palawan, and my buddy Yoich says, I'm going to teach you how to spell that one. Robert O'Malley, just apparently checking in, says, good morning, Ramon. Did you see that Notre Dame Cathedral is on fire right now? And to clarify, and I love my cousin Ramon, he says, it's the one in France. Oh, that Notre Dame. That Notre Dame church, the one in France, is the one on fire.
Well, maybe he thinks you thought it was in Indiana.
I don't know. Is there a Notre Dame in Indiana?
Notre Dame University.
Oh, Notre Dame University in Indiana. No. That one apparently, as far as we know, is not on fire at this time. But yeah, the one's like saying, which Kmart did you go to? I said, the one in Tamuning. The Tamuning location of Kmart. I keep waiting for them. Where's the Dedido location of Kmart? So there's all of that, and I think my big sister has been in the neighborhood because I've gotten, I think this is, am I supposed to get these autographed? I've got Rana from the Republican National Party coming in a little bit later on. And we have, we've got roots, obviously, in my family. I like to joke I'm from the Republican branch of the Underwood family. Most of the rest of the Underwoods are all hardcore Democrats. And once upon a time, my grandfather, Raymond Underwood, got together with a bunch of folks at the Hong Kong Gardens restaurant in Tamuning, about where Alupang Towers is, I think, and got together with Carlos Badadzu, Paul Calvo. Yes, that Paul Calvo is, and it's the Payless thing. Kathy's dad, former governor Paul Calvo, Carlos Camacho, former governor Carlos Camacho, and Felix's dad, Antonio Duenas, Alberto Lamarena, Kurt Moylan, former lieutenant governor of Guam, Frank Perez, Vicente Regis, Rick Salas, Tomas Santos, Carlos Taitano, as in the great and esteemed Congress walkout, Carlos Taitano, and Tomas Tanaka, not that one, his grandfather. They all got together a Saturday in the 9th of January in 1965 to form the Territorial Party of Guam, which went on to become the GOP, the Republican Party of Guam. So those are my roots, and they had these invitations made. Shelley got one, blew it up, and has got it laminated. So and there's two of them. So you tell me what to do with it. I'm assuming that you want the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee to sign off on a couple of these. So I'll hold on to them when she gets here. We'll go ahead and get these things signed. 6:58 and change here on the morning show here on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. It's great to have you along. Bunch of other items in the table of contents. chance, we'll get around to doing some of them, and some interesting stories over the last couple of days that I haven't had a chance to completely riff on. And in fact, the one that is most interesting to me, Lulian Guerrero says, I'm not going to bother with a report to the Department of Interior on how much we believe we are spending on compact immigrants here on Guam, because the people over at the Department of Interior don't like our numbers, don't like the way they're put together, but nobody, as far as anybody can tell, has come up with the reliable, best method to be able to document and capture and report what those expenditures are. So I'm like, good on you, Lou. So when they come back and say, what are the numbers? You say, well, you tell us. You tell us, it's your deal. And this is supposed to be this massive Golden Week that's going to be coming up. Golden Week is actually going to be 10 days. How are you going to celebrate that? Run around Tumon and look around at all the tourists? Because looking at a lot more Japanese that are supposed to be coming in for Golden Week here on Guam. So that'll be interesting. I guess the word that it needs to go out is clean up, because we got guests coming over. It's going to be one of the bigger events and last for a little bit longer here as Golden Week is going to be unfurled. When is that going to start here? Late this month and into early May. What did you say, 28th? April 30th is when it's supposed to start. It's going to go for a while. Like I said, 10 days worth of Golden Week. So even if you're not in Tumon, if you're in the village, clean up as well, because we got a lot more FITs. Even the Japanese are starting to figure out how to use the Google Maps and drive around in their rent-a-cars. So, like I said, clean up. Got company coming. 7 o'clock in the morning. We're KUSG Agana. Stand by now for Fox News Live.
Our Lady of Paris all but lost. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris gutted by fire today. The flames began near the 12th century building's iconic spire and quickly spread until the structure was gutted. Fox's Trace Gallagher.
Inside the Cathedral of Notre Dame, there are 52 acres of timber. That's what was used to build this over 800 years ago. In fact, the inside of the cathedral was nicknamed the forest because there was so much wood. It gives you kind of a perspective of how this thing has burned so strong for so long, and the firefighters are really having very little effect.
The church had been undergoing renovations. The fire continues burning at this hour. President Trump discussing the Notre Dame fire while in Minnesota earlier today.
That is beyond countries. That's beyond anything. That's a part of our growing up. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of our lives. That's a truly great cathedral.
The president was hosting an economic roundtable. President Trump continuing his feud with Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
Representative Omar says she's been getting death threats after President Trump tweeted a video of her delivering a speech saying some people did something, referring to 9/11. The video intercut with images of the terror attacks. The Minnesota Democrat likened the video to hate speech that could incite violence. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told Fox News Sunday,
"The president's not trying to incite violence against anybody. He's actually speaking out against it."
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has asked Capitol Police to ensure the Congresswoman's safety.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. A redacted version of the special counsel's final report on Russian election meddling to be released Thursday. Attorney General William Barr says parts will be blocked from public view to protect intelligence sources, grand jury testimony, and ongoing investigations. This is Fox News.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
It's a seafood celebration on the Lent menu. Now back at King's Restaurants. Your tasty favorites like salmon curry, orange shrimp, and whole deep-fried parrotfish will have you swimming with flavors from the sea. Our fried rice with salmon or shrimp will make ordering easy and delicious. It's a seafood celebration on the Lent menu. Available all day, every day, just for Lent. And only at King's.
Measles continues its spread across the U.S. 20 states now reporting a total of 555 cases, the most in a quarter century. 85% of those cases are in New York. A search underway in Syria for a New Zealand nurse captured by ISIS nearly 6 years ago.
The Red Cross revealing Louisa Akavi was abducted in 2013. Details were kept secret for fear her life might be at risk. But with ISIS rule collapsing, the aid agency is going public.
We have a strong indication that she was alive in December, so this is about following up and seeing if we can get further information.
Red Cross crisis manager John Dyer. It's thought Akavi may have been kept alive because of her medical skills. New Zealand's government, which opposes the decision to publicise the search, saying it's learned that she has been working as a nurse. Simon Owen, Fox News.
Actress Lori Loughlin, her fashion designer husband Mosimo Giannulli, and other prominent parents are pleading not guilty today in the college admission bribery scam. The couple and more than a dozen other parents were indicted last week on charges of mail fraud and money laundering conspiracy. A federal judge today denying bail for Yujing Zhang, a Chinese woman charged with lying to illegally enter President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort.
Zhang pleaded not guilty to the charges against her of entering a restricted area and making false statements. Convictions could mean up to 6 years in prison, more than $250,000 in fines, and possible deportation. The judge says he thinks Zhang was up to something nefarious and believes her to be a flight risk.
Fox's Gernal Scott. A 5-year-old boy who was seriously injured when he was thrown from a third-floor balcony at the Mall of America near Minneapolis remains hospitalized. Friends of the family have started a crowdfunding effort to help with medical bills. The GoFundMe campaign has raised $400,000 as of yesterday. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and Urgent Care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Superior Court Judge Michael Bordallo yesterday setting a $250,000 cash bail for 53-year-old Paul Santos Mafnis Jr., who was arrested Saturday in connection with the kidnapping and sexual assault of a 10-year-old girl in Tamuning last Thursday. According to court documents, Mafnis kidnapped the girl on her way to school and sexually assaulted her at gunpoint in an abandoned Tamuning parking lot. Mafnis was arrested Saturday after he was identified in a photo lineup, and according to the magistrate complaint, he admitted that he was involved in the kidnapping and had inappropriately touched the child. He told investigators that sexually assaulting female minors is an addiction of his that he cannot resist. Assistant Attorney General Sean Brown told the court yesterday that Mafnis's conduct is some of the most egregious that he has ever seen as a prosecutor. He pointed out that Mafnis spent 18 years in prison for a very similar case that occurred back in 1999. And for those reasons, he said the people are asking for a $250,000 cash bail. Mafnis appeared at the magistrate hearing yesterday via closed-circuit television from the Agana detention facility where he remains confined. Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes has introduced a bill that would allow 2 health care plans to be selected by a GovGuam health insurance negotiating team. Both plans would be recommended to Governor Lou Leon Guerrero for a final decision. Bill number 94-35 proposes to amend the current law, which requires the selection of only one health insurance plan offered by just one company. According to the current law, that one plan must be the most economical and beneficial health care insurance proposal submitted by the competing health insurance providers. Barnes's bill also defines most beneficial as meaning a plan that provides a broad and comprehensive network of medical providers both on and off island and has met the required minimum benefits as well as offers a reasonable and sustainable rate, as well as demonstrating consistent high level of member satisfaction through measurable surveys, according to the proposed bill. We'll have more news after this.
Attention homeowners, if you don't have a solar energy system on your roof from Micronesia Renewable Energy, now is the time to get one. MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2019 as National Earth Month with the return of our Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Join us on Saturday, April 20 at the Agana Shopping Center from 3 to 5 p.m. and vote for the best mascot display. Second place wins $250 and first place wins $500. The 2019 Upcycle Mascot Showdown is brought to you by the Agana Shopping Center, Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty, Underwater World, Sylvan Learning Center, Family Finance, Buddy's Home Furnishings, Gumamon the Guamster, and Pitbull Empire.
7 minutes past 7 a.m. Here at the Point. Island tourism officials are gearing up for a surge in Japanese arrivals at the end of this month when more than 11,500 visitors are expected to arrive during the Golden Week holiday. At a news conference yesterday, GVB President Pilar Laguana said, "This will be the biggest Golden Week that we've ever experienced," and she called on the island community and local businesses to prepare for the increase in Japanese visitors. Golden Week is a collection of 4 Japanese national holidays that usually lasts only 7 days. This year, however, Japan has extended the length of the holiday to 10 days in celebration of Crown Prince Naruhito's ascension to the chrysanthemum throne when his father, Emperor Akihito, steps down on April 30th. Golden Week runs from April 24th to May 5th. The Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division investigating a serious crash this morning in Agate. It happened on routes 2 and 2A about 4 a.m., according to GBD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau. No word of any injuries at this time. Details have not yet been released. Drivers are being advised that northbound lanes will be closed off as police conduct their investigation. Motorists should expect delays, and they're being asked to seek alternate routes. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
Not much to tell you about weather. It's that time of year where the forecast is actually pretty simple for the day. Partly cloudy with isolated light showers. Winds out of the east blowing up to 20 miles an hour. Decreasing after the sun sets to about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Highs 88 degrees expected overnight. Lows tonight should be about 77 degrees. We'll get to tonight when sun sets at 6:34. Sunrise this morning was at 6:07. Watch for it to come up a little bit earlier tomorrow morning. Now, with the near-term forecast, I mean, stuff that we can actually see out there, we'll plug in the radar and see what Mike's got to say about that.
Radar shows quite a lot of shower activity down to our south, but it is moving from east to west, and it's not really coming this way. South side getting clipped by a few showers and maybe even a few other strays up north of that. No big deal, no major rains in store for us, but watch out, may find a slick spot on the roads while you're getting to work this morning. Looking at satellite right now, we can see that all of that activity is down to the south of us. It's locked into the intertropical convergence zone as we work our way down there. Well, that's pretty close there.
I get it.
Got some blobbage down to the southwest of us, but there's no designation of it. It's not expected to turn into anything. It's just blobbage. It's scooting on by like it does this time of year. Off to the east, see a little trade wind disturbances here and there, little ripples in the atmosphere, if you will. Those will keep on passing through. It looks like a bit of a shear line off to the northwest, but that's just not going to make it in here. It's going to wash out. We can forget about any of those kind of spring breezes at this point. It's slowly working its way into summer as we go right on through the rest of the month.
Going to be nice when it gets to be Golden Week. 24th of April is when the festivities will begin, and we should start to see more and more tourists arriving from all of the source markets in Japan for Golden Week. Should go into the first week or so of May. So, as I said, going into the 7 o'clock hour, clean up. We got guests coming in. 7:13. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
The Ray Gibson Show, where I don't talk about spoilers from Game of Thrones yesterday, is being brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future. King's Restaurant, where they've got an incredible, still on the Lent menu. It's not going to be until Easter Sunday when they start thinking about coming in with some other fun goodies to bring to you for your dining needs. But right now, the essentials, the seafood, covered in the Lent menu at King's. Also brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit gta.net for more information.
I like
GTA.
that. Quarter after 7 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. Simple and easy. It's a great meal waiting for you over at Wendy's. They had this launching into the Lenten season, and everybody said, cod filet over at Wendy's, I'm going. And so they sold out, but they got it back in time for Good Friday. The popular cod filet fish sandwich combo is back in stock. Simple, clean, and honest. The cod filet combo is available at Wendy's, but only for a limited time. Program's also sponsored by Cars Plus. Jan and Joey and Dunge and everybody over at Cars Plus want to get you into a new ride for 2019. Want to get you that new dealer plate on the back of the car for a couple of days? Yeah, it's always a good feeling. New car smell, get it at Cars Plus.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, links getting passed around here. Notre Dame Cathedral on fire in Paris. A major operation underway to save the 850-year-old Gothic building. But I don't think they're going to make it. So much wood on the inside of that, and the flying buttresses and all of those things that we learned about the architecture and the culture of that church. And it is all alight right now. And it doesn't look like they're going to be able to save much. The spire has now come down. It was one of the most recent images that we were watching on Sky News. The actual, yeah, very. I mean, it's iconic, right? So it's something else. Didn't get any word about anybody from Guam. You know, it's the old truism in this game is that all stories are local stories, and somewhere around here is somebody that knows somebody that is either in Paris right now, or has just recently come back. And maybe you've got some pictures of the Notre Dame, and it'd be worth sending some over at 988-5874. Your pictures of when you were there at Notre Dame. I'd love to be able to post some of these things up on Facebook, kind of local memories of something that is iconic and one of the wonders of the world that's gone up in flames now. 7:17 in the morning. Here, Jerry Roberts. He's in the studio. Got Extra Point coming up in a second. Hey, look, Melina Montanonia is online, and Melina, you know, there was a picture of my buddy Gino with your mom on Facebook, and I asked the question, is Gino back? and never, ever got an answer. What, was he here? Did I miss him? You got to tell me. Ricky Orsini's online. Karina Ludwig, Melissa Salas Akimoto, A. Camacho. I see Christine M. Kitagwa saying good morning. And Bobby Shringy's online. Hey, Bobby, nice to see you there. John Ray Titano letting me know that he is not the Carabao Man. He's the nephew of the Carabao Man. Thanks appreciate the clarification there. Jim Healy, Dave Duenas, Ed Kitsutsu. I got Adita Camarillo, Richard Leon, Derek Munya Kanata from Autospot is lurking in the program online this morning. Nice to see you there. And Yoich Ringil, Jennifer Post Schnittger, listening in. Which one of the Carolinas is she in? One of those, right? Out in that farm country, Bible Belt. Okay, Bill Chaco's there, and Chalorna Laron is online with us as well. Did I say good morning already to Michelle Diego Kitsutsu and Jackie F.A. Perez? All right, well, good. I think I got that taken care of along with Vanessa Judikpa online this morning. Great to have everybody here. Press the share button if you don't mind, just so that you can let people that follow you on Facebook and online know that this is where you start your morning. This is where you get the news, the information, the entertainment, and not Game of Thrones spoilers. I've been warned off about this. I watched the show yesterday because I'm that kind of guy. I'm a big fan of the series, and it was nice to watch the episode and get caught up with everybody and all of the dangers now that face our favorite and not so favorite families in this Middle Earth kind of kingdom. And we'll see what happens now that season number 8 is already on and underway, and I will repeat my lament here this morning. I'm spoiled by Netflix. I wanted to be able to go from episode 1 to episode 2 and just sit at the house and watch Game of Thrones and drink beer and eat nuts all afternoon. But I could not, because it's not Netflix. It's HBO. And they go season 8, episode 1. And do you want to watch episode 2? Yeah. I want to watch episode 2. Next Monday, you can watch episode 2, Gibson, but not today.
What are you going to do when the Disney thing comes out next year?
The Disney thing?
Apple has a streaming service. Disney has a streaming service coming up for $7 a month. Apple has one, and then Time Warner and whatever the conglomeration they have now, it's like 4 companies have come together and merged. AT&T and Time Warner being the principals. They have one coming. So by next year or the year after, there will be 4 Netflix-type things out there. That probably won't be the end of it.
The answer is probably sign up for all of them at some point.
Goodbye cable TV. It's over.
Oh, that's right. Sell your TV.
Yeah, cellular TV. Everything is
sell
going to
it.
be.
No, I mean, get rid of your TV.
Well, I thought you were saying everything is going to be on the 5G. So we'll plug in 5G modems and things like that, and that's the way it's going to be. The cable business, I think, as you and I remember it, Kevin and I remember it growing up. I think that model is just about done for now.
Just about done.
But the thing is, though, is the cable businesses were never really in the entertainment game. That's for the syndicators. The cable business is the cable. That's the pipe, and the pipe's not going away. The pipe is changing now. The pipe will still be there, and we'll still be able to plug into a pipe, whether it's a 75 ohm black cable that you see flying up on the poles, or whether it's the glass, or maybe even a copper pair. I think I've got copper pair coming in from the GTA guys into my modem. The modem talks to the TV now. That's my new version of cable. But there are things that I didn't realize I'd miss it until I'd seen it again. Saturday night, I was staying with some friends as we were preparing for the marathon on Sunday morning, and so we were staying at the Fiesta, and the Fiesta has cable television, right? So you can turn on the TV, and there's the USA Network. I haven't watched the show on the USA Network, and it's got to be 3 years since I've watched it. They did this big, I don't know, was it one of the detective shows? It's some kind of marathon going on with that, and I watched one of them, and I go, I haven't seen a show where they have a story and then they break away for a commercial and they have a story, and I haven't watched a commercial on television in years. What's that all about?
Yeah. I have a brother-in-law who lives in the Oakland Alameda area, and he has kept his cable because of one thing, because he can subscribe
ESPN.
Well, not just ESPN. He can subscribe to the NBA and Major League Baseball and whatever network he wants, but he got a better deal through the satellite thing, right? Well, now you can subscribe to those things right over the regular internet. You don't need anything else. You pay him $150. You get the whole season. You can pick your home team and get all their games. So, I mean, that model has changed everything now, the subscription model that you can pick up almost anything. So there's what's going to get more expensive, though, is internet.
Yeah, when they figure out what the how much bandwidth you're using.
Right. So when they can't charge anymore for HBO and those things, they're going to turn around and say, wait a second, this guy's doing everything on the internet here, so maybe we'll just double the price of that.
Internet's already pretty high. I mean, I was paying $80 a month before I turned it off.
But I don't know that you needed to turn it off as much as maybe just go back to your provider and say, do I have a lower speed option?
Yeah, there really wasn't. I mean, I was at their bottom speed, bottom of the storage. I mean, the gigabytes. So, yeah. I just don't use that much.
That might be the tough part of it. Is you just kind of create some kind of a bandwidth budget for yourself and figure out that this is I need to do this much upload, I need to do this much download. These are the shows that I'm going to watch, and this is the plan that's going to work for me. Trust me, I'm sure the people over in the telecom industry are looking at what the appropriate new models are going to be in this ever changing world. Randy Kruger typing in, my iPad is my TV now. I know exactly what you mean. When I needed to buy a television for the living room, I did not go out and buy a television. I bought a smart TV, and the distinction. In fact, there's 4 of them if you're looking at Jerry Roberts on Facebook Live right now, every monitor that you see in the background is a smart TV. HDMI inputs. I can log onto the internet. I can play Hulu. I can play Netflix. I can play anything on any of the televisions that are on behind you right now because they're all smart monitors out there. And I think that if you bought buyer's remorse, if you bought one of those old TVs going, well, I'll just hook it up to my Apple TV and that's the way I'm going to see the world. There's a lot more than Apple TV coming down the pipe here. 7:24 in the morning. Double Jerry Roberts today. You get him in the Guam Daily Post. Purpose, pursuit, and pain is the topic in today's what is it called? The Work Zone from Jerry Roberts. What is it? Purpose, pursuit, and pain. Sounds like a dating plan to me. But everything sounds like that to me these days. Anyway, so you want to find out what that's all about. Work Zone in today's Guam Daily Post. Time for the audio version of Jerry Roberts. It's The Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Did you ever want to be like somebody else? Did you ever try to copy their style or their ways? Today, let's talk about patterning our methods after somebody else's. That's next on The Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Hey, are you ready to afford the good life? For example, cooking in a gourmet kitchen that is as amazing as your skills. Or how about paying off tuition? Or maybe expanding your home to make room for your parents? Live beyond your dreams, within your means, with a low-rate home equity line of credit from First Hawaiian Bank. To learn more or to apply, visit any branch or FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I was playing Junior League Baseball, and my favorite player was Sandy Koufax of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I listened to every game he pitched on my transistor radio. Over a period of a few years, Koufax compiled the best pitching record in baseball history. I was an occasional pitcher for our team, and I wanted to pitch just like Sandy. I copied his windup, an entire pitching motion. In my mind, I was throwing like Koufax, down to the last detail. However, when I brought it up to a couple of the guys on the team, they laughed, telling me there was nothing about my pitching style that reminded them of Koufax. How could they be so dense, I thought. I'm sure it looks like him. Then I saw a film of one of the parents took that was made in their 8mm camera. Yeah, 8mm, and I groaned. I might have resembled Irving Koufax or Johnny Koufax, but it wasn't anything close to Sandy Koufax. Now, I've talked about Big Ed, one of my early managers and mentors. What I haven't mentioned is the time Ed took a vacation and left one of the mechanics in charge of the garage operation. He was a good guy, and we liked him. Several times while subbing for Ed, he explained instructions to us using not only the same style of language Ed used, but also some of the same jokes. It was, well, distracting. We picked up on it immediately and began looking at each other like, did he really say that? You know, we all learn from other workers, supervisors and peers alike. That's the way it should be. One person helping another grow, and perhaps replace them when it's their time to step away. My opinion is that we should strive to learn the successful strategies and methods from every person possible, but we shouldn't pay too much attention to their style. Let's say your boss gives a great presentation to the management team on a certain topic or workflow. The visuals are spot on and he hit all the points perfectly. You decide you want to borrow the slides to deliver the same talk to your team. What I would do is make a time to sit with the boss and ask questions about the subject, and then study it so you know it backwards and forwards. When it's time to present the program, you do it your way, adding your own unique touches. Many times over the years, I've received the greatest gift a trainer can get. When a former student reaches out to say they're using the things they picked up in one of my courses and it's working for them. Bosses love to hear this too. It shows that you not only listened, but you thought what they taught you was good enough to pass on to somebody else. It's the same reason we feed what we know into our kids, so they'll do it the same for their grandkids. Then one day, a grandchild or great-grandchild will share with you a chunk of wisdom that you recognize, that got its start as a seed you planted decades ago. When that happens, you'll be reminded of one of the big reasons that you're here. Copy the methods, not the style. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Nowhere more clear in the industry that you and I are in. And everybody, when I was a baby broadcaster, everybody wanted to be just like J.Q. Fanihi. And
perish the thought.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the smart guys that said, you know, there's only one J.Q. Fanihi, and you know what? There's only one Ray Gibson. You just got to figure out how to get those guys out and work through those. Don't try to sound like somebody else, unless you can sound like Batman, because then Batman's the coolest thing ever. It just needs to do a radio show. 7:29 in the morning, and still looking over the video of the Notre Dame Cathedral and the fire, and I'm looking at the video. Looks like some of the fire might actually be out. I don't know if there's anything left inside to burn. I've posted on the Facebook Live a link to a 360 video page, Vizio page in Facebook, where you can see the interior of the Notre Dame in 360, obviously before the fire, so you get a better sense of what it is that now we are going to be missing. Headline from CNBC, Paris's Notre Dame saved from total destruction, fire officials say, after blaze ravaged the cathedral. So it looks like maybe there is something of a foundation to rebuild the thing on, and I hope that they get to work on rebuilding it. It's for all intents, 13 million people a year visit that particular church. One of the most visited monuments in all of Europe, according to some of the things I've read. And you take a look at this thing burning, and it's I don't know, architecture is 911. We were talking about 911 just the other day.
Yeah, it's funny what memories do, and I appreciate it. The other day we had mentioned that about the 9/11 terrorist attacks and where we were, and I was doing a training class up at Atkins Kroll the day afterwards, and we had to sit down and kind of walk people through the process because nobody really wanted to go into a training class. But I tell this story in 2 or 3 of the training classes that I do. So about 2,000 people have heard me go through this thing over the years. And the reason that what I forgot to mention the other day, and I was about to, but when you came in and you mentioned your recollections of it, you were on the radio on K57,
right,
the morning of the terrorist attacks, and you were telling that story, and and he's looking up at me, and I'm giving him kind of a blank stare, and I went back to Facebook, and I took a look, and for a moment there, I did give a blank stare, and the reason is because I was on the radio that morning on K57, and I don't recall whether or not you handed off to me or you were already gone. I don't recall that part of it, but the idea is you're telling the story, and I'm saying he wasn't on the radio. That was me on the radio that day for John Anderson.
We were both on the radio.
We were both. So, because you came in overnight, because they called you in out of a zero sleep anyway. Probably you probably got no sleep, and you came in and did the overnight for 4 or 5 hours, and then I came in at 6, or 5:30, whatever it was, and picked it up from there. And the funny thing about it was, is you were telling the story, I'm playing in my mind. No, that was me.
I was the guy that.
I was the
wait,
guy.
those are my memories.
Yeah. Well, so I go home and I tell my wife, and she says, "No, you weren't there. You were home," because we were all stunned by the news. We were watching the TV. I distinctly remember you and I sitting there talking about this during the morning. And I'm thinking, wait a second. Gibson says he was the guy. My wife says I was not there. But you know what I remembered?
Oh, you're all upside down on this thing.
Well, at that point, because I'm thinking, because I have told this story, like I say, in training classes, and she's saying to me, no, I don't think you were there. But I remember talking to a guy on the air that morning, and he was saying, what would possess a pilot to fly into a building with all those passengers? And I said the pilots were already dead. You know, and I remember that line in the conversation. So when we got done, my wife says, you got to clear this up, because, I didn't know at that time that you were on the air. But I called Bob Gaith, who was the producer at that show. And he said, no, Ray came in overnight.
Yeah.
And did all those hours overnight. And then you came in the morning. And then so I said, okay, well, that clears all that up. So then, but what wasn't cleared up was all the people I've told over the years that I actually was there as part of the story.
Oh, when the things were coming down. No,
you were there when it was coming down.
Yeah, I was there when it was
going
coming
down. By the time I got on.
There was a long, obviously, just watching things burn. Then it fell, and you wondered what else was going to fall down. And then it got to be sunrise on Guam, and I still had to do the morning show on Power 98.
Yeah.
So I went from one thing to the other, and like I said, went into the quiet music playlist that we had set aside for exactly such a disaster.
But it's funny what memory does. At one point, I was saying to myself, maybe I wasn't there.
That's why it's good to have Bob Gaith around every once in a while, because he's a pretty good memory for this kind of thing. Although he came in to do, he was the one that I handed everything off to and said, this is where we've been. These are the problems that you're going to have, because a lot of our network connections into New York were in the building, when it came down. So that was rough on us. 7:34 in the morning. There's Jerry Roberts and a little bit extra of the extra point. Do you want transcripts of that? Another excellent extra point. Go to GuamTraining.com. And don't forget, you can read up on a little bit more, Jerry, in this morning's work zone: purpose, pursuit, and pain. It's 7:34, and headlines now from the Guam Daily Post and Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, a 17-year-old girl took the stand yesterday and testified that Pastor Renato Capilli Bossi touched her inappropriately on multiple occasions 3 years ago. The girl fought back tears as she recounted the incidents that occurred when she was 14 years old in the care of Bossi while her parents were away. She accused Bossi of touching her buttocks and her groin and forcing her to kiss him. She also said Bossi called her on multiple occasions and sent her inappropriate emails. The girl's father also testified, saying that his daughter's behavior changed after that. Before she was a sweet girl, he said, she then became more irritable. Bossi was the pastor at the Living Lighthouse Church in Barragata. The trial continues this morning. A $5,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for shooting a pet dog in Dedido. David Silva said the family's 8-year-old blue Doberman named Sumo wandered off Friday morning and was later found shot dead less than 200 yards away from the family's home on Lily Street in Dedido. Veterinarian who examined the dog determined that the wounds were caused by bullets from a small caliber weapon fired at a location on the dog's body intended to kill him. In a statement to the media, Guam Animals in Need President Cyrus Lure said, "We remind everyone that it is illegal to shoot a dog, and the only exception is if you're defending your life or livestock against a vicious animal." Anyone with information about Sumo's death is asked to call Guam Police Department's Dedido Precinct at 632-9808 or Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. Vendors interested in participating in the 75th Liberation Day Carnival can pick up their bid packets at the Mayor's Council of Guam office in Agana today, or you can find the package online at the Mayor's Council of Guam website. Mayor's Council issued a release yesterday saying they're looking for vendors who can offer games of skill and chance, as well as food vendors and other vendors who sell plants, souvenirs, balloons, and trinkets. The annual carnival is scheduled to last about 60 days this year, from June 5th through August 11th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Groovy. It's 7:37. That's iConnect. Their phone number is 888-8888. That's 888-8888. Got a call from a friend of mine yesterday saying, you know what, I'm thinking about getting into the two-way business and away from cell phones. Got any advice? I said, call iConnect. They have a thing called Push to Talk. It's literally the best of both worlds, and they're the only guys that do it.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster carbonara or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Bex Salazar's online. I got Mark Cruz, Joe Duenas, Ed Karen Untalan, Jose Martinez has checked in. So is Ike Iseki and Lady D up in Jigo. On the other end of the island, down a little bit closer to Santa Rita way, I got Becky North. Good morning, Beck.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm just going to very quickly tell everybody there's no traffic anywhere. Might be a line of traffic in front of Anderson Air Force Base. Otherwise, it's clear into the downtown area. 4 is clear. 10 is clear. 8, 10, and 16 looking pretty good, as is the entranceway to Big Navy down in Sumai. That's looking all right as well. Early an accident that was causing some problems around 2A, but it looks like everybody heeded the word from the police and took off in the other direction. So we got quiz night coming up.
We do. We do on, excuse me, on May 3rd.
Everybody is making that noise. Can I just tell you that thing you just did? Kevin Kerrigan just did it just a couple of seconds ago, and it was like sleeping with a lion here in the building. Just get this kind of, you can feel it in your chest when he makes that noise.
I don't want it to be anything in my chest, please.
We got Golden Week coming up. Get out of here. You got work to do. You got to set up all the questions for Quiz Night, which is going to be happening on May the 3rd at the Sheraton.
Yes, absolutely. So if people are interested in supporting Habitat for Humanity here on Guam, get your friends together, get a team of 6 together, plop down your $360, come down to the Sheraton, eat great food, and have a lot of fun.
It really is great food. I mean, these guys, they recognize how much money the folks are paying to be a part of Quiz Night, and so it is not trail mix by any stretch of the imagination. It's good food.
Good food. And then top team wins $600 cash. Thank you very much to Stay Well. And then every team after that wins 6 of something. And we, thank our sponsors out there. It's
6 gift certificates here, 6 things of laundry detergent, 6 things of toilet paper, 6 things of dog food. People go crazy on that. Some things like, yeah, you can keep your money. I want that. That's the prize I want. I'm playing for second place, so I can be the first up there on the big wall of prizes.
Yeah, never know what you might go home with, but we do know you'll go home with a lot of fun, been had, and Habitat for Humanity raising some money.
There's an early bird sign-up thing, right?
Exactly. If your team pays by the 27th of April, your team will get thrown in, your team's name will get thrown into a hat, and the team that gets pulled will pull one team, and they'll win an extra prize. And I'm not quite sure.
The airplane rides this year, right? All 6 people are going to be, United's going to send them someplace, or what is it, big screen TVs?
Yeah.
Forget what it is. I don't know. It's Apple 10s or something like that. There's a lot of big prizes. So you want to sign up early, ladies and gentlemen, and that way, we've got some. Trust me, you don't want to sign up late because we've run out of tables in the past for Quiz Night. Don't want that to happen to you. So if anybody wants to get lined up for a table, where do they call?
They could call me at 565-6480 or the Habitat office, 647-4667. Or you could shoot us an email at habitatqn@gmail.com.
Gotcha. You've traveled the world, haven't you?
I have.
Have you been in the Cathedral of Notre Dame?
I used to walk to work on the island at the backside of the cathedral every day.
Oh, wow.
So I lived on one side of the river, and I was working on the other side of the river, and that was my path, the backside where the fine buttresses were.
Wow. So this got to be something to you, hearing the news about the big fire, the blaze at Notre Dame.
It's heartbreaking because that's a beautiful, beautiful cathedral, and I studied Middle Ages, and that was my time frame when I was doing my master's. So,
yeah, to watch it burn. I mean, just the history behind it is one thing, but let me make this point here: is the incredible engineering that went into the construction and the buttressing of it, because there was just so much volume. It needed to have the flying buttresses to be able to hold everything up, and that kind of thinking, that kind of at the time genius in the Middle Ages. Can you imagine? It's the equivalent of them being able to build a 747.
Still genius today. I mean, if you it's such a graceful building, and well, I'm a little heartbroken right now.
I'll bet. My guess is that, and there's enough interest, I think, planet-wide, 13 million visitors a year. It wouldn't take a whole lot by way of a GoFundMe or something like that to get whatever monies they need to restore to as much as possible the grace of the building.
Yes, but I love stained glass. I took a class when I was living in France on stained glass, and I think of all the beautiful glass that I'm sure is probably not surviving this fire.
Well, I leave it. It would not. Let's talk again about this in 5 years. Make a date to talk about this in 5 years, and see what they will have done by way of reconstruction and renovation. So, unless the glass has melted as a result of this, I mean, is it possible they might be able to pull up some shards and like building like my friend Ann's got this thing for jigsaw puzzles. Is it possible they could rebuild the stained glass? I mean, wood is the wood. I mean, you get artisans out there that will know how to work based on pictures, and the stained glass, pick it up all off the floor and sit down with some new stained glass fixings and put them back together.
Between them, and see, who knows?
Can you imagine a more photographed place?
No. Yeah, I mean, they know what's there.
So
they know where every piece was.
Exactly. I think we're going to be okay here. 7:44 in the morning. Beck, thanks so much. I appreciate your memories on that.
Take care.
Kind of a big deal. It's 7:45 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. We'll riff on quiz night again a little bit later on, but my producer says I need to take a break. Be right back.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Lady D says, we'll just use the same method and remake the stained glass from back in the day. Well, yeah, I don't know. You do kind of want to nod to the authenticity. So as much as you could possibly save from something like that, maybe go ahead and see what you can do. I'm kind of in the process of doing some rehabilitation on my childhood home, and I was digging around in the back, and at some point a contractor must have been brought in to remove some of what at the time I'm sure my mother considered ugly tile and replaced it with something else. Anyway, so the guy didn't take this stuff to a dump or a hard fill. He just kind of dug a hole in the backyard. Well, I've uncovered that hole in the backyard, and now I'm looking at this tile, and they're very unique pieces of tile, unique color, unique patterns, and unique shapes of the tiles as they go together. And so I've got in my mind a little bit of a project to take about the 3 square feet that I have of this old tile that's been distressed and buried and burned over the years, and see if I can do something with it.
Yeah, it should be noted that in the Cathedral of Notre Dame in particular, most of the stained glass that's in there is actually from the 40s and 50s. They had to reinstall it all after World War II when most of the windows got blown out.
From the bombing, shelling, and things like that. Tez Schmidt is a friend of mine on Facebook, and her profile picture, and you can find her if you want to. TEZ is her first name, and there's a picture of her with the Eiffel Tower, so not too far off from where everything is. She says she was just there a week ago, and she's got the sad eyes emojis that she's put up there. Leaded glass is so beautiful. Trick that I never learned, but I know people that have taken the time to be able to do something like that. So, like I said, Notre Dame on fire, spire's gone, inside's gutted. There might be enough of the structure to say that they've actually saved the thing. So, my guess is in a few years, we will be heralding the new and improved Church of Notre Dame. At least one guy online was talking about, why there's so much interest in watching this old church burn down, especially in light of the stories that we've got here about pedophile priests and things like that. I think cosmically there's a difference between the two stories, but we'll work and see how it plays. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number around here. And while waiting on my guest to come in, I got a couple of guests coming in. One of them is the chairwoman of the Republican Party of the Republican National Committee, and she's going to be making her way into the building before too much longer. Also have a chance to meet up with Dr. David DeRose at some point this morning to talk about the Methuselah factor, and I'll have to look up Methuselah. Near as I can tell, all I can do is pronounce Methuselah. But right now, let me pronounce somebody else. I got Angel Sablan on the line from the Mayor's Council. Good morning, Angel.
Hey, good morning, Ramon.
Hamalay. So a couple of things now. As far as I know, the paperwork has been sent out. Third draft of the paperwork has been sent out for Games of Chance and the House of Cards, right?
Not quite correct. It's Games of Skill. No Games of Chance.
No Games of Chance yet.
Not yet, because those rules and regs have not been approved by the legislature.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about, but you sent out a draft of the rules already, right?
But yes, the draft of the rules are with the legislature, and we're having a hearing on that at 6 p.m. tonight.
At 6 p.m. All right, so I'll be looking at that in a couple of minutes. But now the reason why I called was about the vendor packets, right?
The vendor packets for the other stuff, the kiddie games, ring toss, duck pond, balloon darts, food, confectionaries, retail sales, photo booth, computer booth, things like that. Those will be available starting at 8 o'clock today at our office or on our website.
Okay, and that's over at the governor's office?
No, it's over at the Mayor's Council of Guam office in Hawaii.
Oh, that's by the old Riverside.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. But I thought the Mayor's Council was moving off to the governor's office.
We have not.
You have not yet done that. Okay, still paying the rent then?
Yes. Well, the rent is the lease is up to September 30. So.
All right, so you're going to have to stick around, Brown. Okay, gotcha. Hey, listen, I got a bigger name in the studio, so I'm going to let you go.
All righty.
Talk to you soon. As Angel Sablan from the Mayor's Council. Packet pickups available right about now. I got to make sure I get the camera pointed off in the right direction as we make our way into the next interview portion of the program, 7:50 in the morning. And I hope you got some time to stick around. I might move off to Fox News just to continue talking to you. But I wanted to welcome Rana.
That's okay.
See, no, I'm the guy that's been telling everybody for the last couple of days. It's pronounced like Ronald Reagan.
It's like Donna with an R.
Donna with an R. Rana is in the studio. Shelley Gibson says hello.
I know. Hello to Shelley. I love her.
She wants your autograph on that.
Okay.
And that is an invite to the pre-inaugural dinner dance that was thrown by the then Territorial Party of Guam, which went on to become the Republican Party of Guam. And there's a guy at the bottom, his name Raymond Underwood, and that is my grandfather. That's Shelley's grandfather.
way.
So those are our roots in the Republican Party of Guam. And if you could do the same thing for me over there. Is that Pudding?
It is.
Pudding, how you doing there? What are you doing here?
Very good. We're making the Republican Party come to task here.
Well, that's good, because we got a shellacking in the last election here. We lost Adelup after all those years. Well, Felix Camacho and then Eddie Calvo for 8 years, and now she's a nice lady. I like her. She's Auntie Lou, young girl. She's terrific, but she's the Democrat. She's not a Republican, so we lost we didn't have a majority in the legislature before, and it doesn't feel like we've got one now. But Rana, welcome to Guam. It's great.
I'm so thrilled to be here. Half a day.
For half a day, I'm thrilled to be here too. And I checked up on your Facebook page, and you've been tweeting around the clock. Basically, you got here at 4 o'clock yesterday and had some things to say about a couple of financial things in the United States.
Tax day.
Tax day is a big deal, obviously. What is it that Ronald Reagan said? For us, every day is the 4th of July, and for Democrats, every every day is tax day.
Exactly.
What the heck is that all about?
So true.
I think I stole that from your page. I'm not sure. But coming to Guam last night, 4 o'clock, and then a little get-together with some folks?
Yes, had a get-together and then went over and saw a wonderful show. And, I mean, it's been fantastic. How beautiful is Guam?
Oh, it's daytime now, so you can see even more of
and
it.
I love the phrase, it's where America's day begins.
Oh, we've got that copywritten and patented.
I
so
love it.
You can't use that for anything else.
I will be saying it a lot the next day. I love it. But it's true. And it's not only that, it's where America's defense begins. And you have a president and President Trump who values our military and is strengthening our defense and understands the strategic importance of Guam.
Well, but you're hanging out with these guys, so to us that live here on this side of the fence, on the other side of the fence, that's vital. It's important to us, but it's not the only thing. I mean, we've got,
Of course not. It's
we're
a tourist, a beautiful island. I mean, everybody needs to come to Guam. I'll be singing Guam's praises.
Well, you stick
all
around and tell
across
Trump to
Michigan.
come.
I
Well,
will.
He was here. Juan was here the last time that the president came to Guam. He came to Guam and refueled. But that's not enough.
No.
There are American citizens that live here that want more. And so if he's going to be on a plane next time around to go talk to the guy from North Korea or
that guy.
That
in
guy
North
is
Korea.
Pyongyang Pete, I call him. So if he's going to go off in that direction to hang out with him, then he can do a stopover on Guam, and we'll take him to the same show that you saw, and treat him to a nice breakfast, and have him come into the radio show and hang out with me for a little bit.
Well, I talked to him just as I was leaving for Guam, so he knew I was coming here. He said hello.
Get out.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone as I was actually about to board my flight. So, but it is really, truly beautiful. And being from Michigan, where it's freezing.
Oh yes, yeah, year round. What do you
I
guys?
may
what do they
just
get in Michigan?
relocate.
With like 20 minutes of summer is what they get in Michigan. Then it goes.
All 4 seasons in one day. But I think we might relocate the RNC here. I made a thing. Maybe we can run the 2020 campaign off of Guam.
Just do everything via the internet.
Exactly. I'll just be on the beach.
You're going to talk to the Chamber of Commerce today about Guam's role in I underlined it because I thought it was interesting. Guam's role in today's national politics, and I don't want to save anybody any dues money over at the Chamber, but give me a hint of what you consider Guam's role in national politics.
Well, I think I'll be highlighting things that the administration has already said, and certainly as an RNC chair, I'm not a policymaker, so let's be clear there. But I think the strategic importance of Guam, the importance of the military, also being that first line of defense for America, and I think recognizing also the importance of the territories and the islands, and bringing that back to the states is very critical. I don't think every American on the mainland recognizes what Guam means to our country.
I would be surprised if a lot of people in the United States recognized that Guam even existed or that we were a part of the United States.
No, I don't. I think there's a lot of education that needs to be done. Before I came down here, all I heard about were tree snakes. I haven't seen one tree snake.
Right.
But it's very true. I mean, I flew in from Japan.
Was that pedophile priests anymore? I think that's one of the other things that we get a lot of headlines for.
I haven't heard
can I
about
tell you the new one? Because I keep track of all of this. Guam, big stories about Guam in international press, and we finally got something besides priests and snakes that I'm excited about, and that is we're going to be working with Virgin Orbit here.
Yes.
We're going to be shooting rockets into space.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
Yep.
I love the technology.
And you have a big military buildup coming here right now, too.
Eventually,
as well.
yeah. One of these days, we'll start seeing. I think they're scratching the dirt out somewhere and starting to do a little build.
Is I want Guam to go for President Trump this time, because this is a president who lowers taxes, recognizes the importance of that, getting rid of regulations and strengthening our military, and has taken on our biggest foe in North Korea. This is a president that Guam should be supporting.
He's going to go rebuild Notre Dame all by himself. I've got that. He's just that kind of guy, that kind of driven guy.
Our heart goes out to the people in Paris, and obviously it is just an international icon, the Cathedral of Notre Dame.
How'd you get to the top of the heap of the Republican National Committee?
I'm just that good.
I love that. That's my line. I'm that good. Yeah. How did you start? I mean, where's the beginning? Where's your path?
It's kind of an amazing story, but I grew up in politics, passion, worked in a consulting firm in D.C., and then took a break.
Did you work with a guy named Mitt Romney at one point?
I might know a guy named Mitt Romney. Mitt's my uncle. My grandpa was governor of Michigan. My mom ran for Senate. I mean, it was just part of our family. in the sense of getting involved, and we have to engage and protecting our freedoms and not taking it for granted. And my grandfather really recognized that. He was born in Mexico, and it was just really instilled in our family on the Sunday dinner table that we can never take the privilege of being Americans for granted. So
the vital importance of the Bill of Rights.
Yes.
And it seems to me there's just so many people, and they're ranking members in the Senate and big shots in the House, and I don't think they understand why it was put together that way.
Well, you've never seen a more dramatic deviation from the Constitution than you're seeing right now from the Democrat Party. I mean, you're talking about them. They're saying let's lower the voting age to 16. Let's
let illegal aliens vote.
Let's let illegal aliens vote. Let's expand the Supreme Court. Let's get rid of the Electoral College, which means California and New York will be dictating what the United States stands for. I mean, it is really frightening to see the Democrat Party actually take a total left turn away from the Constitution. So we have to fight. It doesn't just happen. You've got to get engaged. It is the greatest country on earth, and we have to fight for those freedoms. So when I was a stay-home mom, my governor came and said, I want you to run the Republican Party of Michigan. I said, you betcha. I'm going to go do it. We won for Trump for the first time in 30 years. And then the president came and said, why don't you run the National Party? And we've broken every fundraising record in history. And
I heard
continue
about
to
that.
Do well, yes.
Yeah. Well, you look like a person that's hard to say no to.
I try and make it that way. Yes.
Right?
Yes. I don't like taking no for an answer when I'm raising money.
All right. Well,
I'll say that's your first answer. We'll come back 2, 3, 4 times. Juan Carlos is like
says,
this as well.
You got to get engaged, because I was thinking about that this morning. I was listening to a couple of things and going back, and I shouldn't go to Twitter. And you tweet. You were tweeting about Notre Dame just this morning, but there's a lot of times I go into Twitter and I jump out as quick as I got in, because there's always somebody in the far left that says something that just irks me, and I go, what country do you think that you are from, or what country do you think you're trying to change here with some of these things that you were talking about?
Yeah, it's toxic on Twitter, but I do think if we do not
Is it worth engaging on Twitter?
It is.
Okay.
If we don't raise our voices, if we are not fighting for this, then who will?
Do you ever just roll your eyebrows and your eyes in your head and say, okay, I got to go through this again now. I got to go through the argument. I got to go through the numbers.
A congressional member say that 9/11 was something some people did.
Right.
I think that's offensive. And now Nancy Pelosi is saying, oh, this is so awful. She needs security because of people calling her out for what she said. And I think that's so backwards that the Democrat leadership isn't saying she needs to apologize. 3,000 Americans were lost.
With just her, how many times have they had the opportunity?
Not only that, there's a video that just surfaced of her taking a terrorist class where she was basically equating Al-Qaeda and Hezbollah to the United States of America. I mean, this is her mindset, and they are allowing it to foster and grow in the Democrat Party. And you know what? She should be called out on it. She's a congressional member. I don't want her to be attacked or personally hurt or anything like that. But if we don't call it out right now, then it will seed itself and it will grow.
Yeah.
And we have to fight for the freedoms we enjoy. And under President Trump, let's look at what's happened. 5 million new jobs, record deregulation. We just saw the biggest tax cut in history that has prompted growing GDP. I mean, people's lives are better.
Well, made our legislature and the governor at the time freak out. When they're completely unprepared for it, and as a result of that now, because the government didn't want to change the status quo, I have to pay an increase in my gross receipts taxes, my business privilege taxes, and so the cascading effect is, while I got to keep a little bit more money in my pocket, as a result of the tax cuts, the cost of all the goods and services have gone up by 20%.
Oh, well, that sounds just like a Democrat. That sounds just like a Democrat governor.
A Republican.
Oh, oops, I'm sorry.
Sorry
about that.
We had a lot of conversations about that. But with the assistance of a Democratic legislature, with the most conservative Democrat that I've seen. We're already late for Fox News. So I'm just going to stay with her until Kevin Kerrigan says I really got to do the news and headlines. Ronna McDowell, who is the Republican National Committee chairwoman on Guam, specifically to visit, say hello to the Chamber of Commerce. She'll be doing that about 11 o'clock or 11:30 this morning. It's going to be over at the Hyatt Regency Guam. I'm not trying to sell tickets, but I think there's going to be be more to the conversation, and a bunch of guys with the same political stripe coming up to you and saying, "Yeah, this is good." Now we were talking about certain people in the House and in the Senate that seem to be from the far left of the party. I'm not even so sure that many of traditional Democrats are saying, "Yeah, they're in our party," because they're not really.
Well, are there traditional Democrats anymore? I mean,
Jim Webb.
It's pretty interesting when Nancy Pelosi's a moderate now. I mean, that's really where their party is. It's so far left. And everyone needs to take a look at what they're saying because it sounds so good. Free Medicare for all, free
tax
college.
the rich.
Yeah, tax the rich, for, guaranteed wage. All of that sounds great. But what it means is we will be heading towards Venezuela, where 90% of the people are living beneath the poverty level. You will lose innovation. You will lose job creation. You will lose that ability to lift everybody up. Yes, we have things that we need to fix in our education. Let's worry about our K through 12, where kids can't even read and graduate from high school before we start saying we're going to guarantee free college. Let's fix our K through 12 before we go to college.
Yeah. Are we? Is the boss serious about sending illegal immigrants into the?
That news broke as I was traveling over here, so I'm
hilarious.
going to take a pass on speaking on behalf of the president on that. But I do think it is
Send the illegals to the
indicative
sanctuary
of. It is
cities.
interesting to see Democrats panicking over it. Oh, this would be so awful.
Cher lost her
so they
mind.
love sanctuary cities when it benefits them, when they get votes. But when you say, and they love open borders, and they say, let everybody come. But when they say, okay, well, we're going to send them to your city. Oh, no, we don't want that. So it shows the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party.
Part of the mission has got to be getting Adelup back. I've had a couple of ideas. One of them begins with, I don't know if you've had a chance to meet her yet, but Mary Torres, who is Carlos Camacho, first elected Republican governor of Guam, and
I met him yesterday.
His
yes.
daughter and his son, the sister of the son, who was a two-term governor of Guam. And as far as I'm concerned, she is the scion of the Republican Party of Guam. She is our Carrie Fisher, our what is it, Skywalker?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
huge.
She's the
She
Princess
has
Leia.
the Force.
She is the Princess Leia of the Republican Party of Guam, and as far as I'm concerned, might be the one that is capable of getting Adelup back. But it takes a little bit more than a name, a little bit more than family background to be able to do something like that. It's going to take a whole lot of money. Are you going to sit around with some of the Republicans and say, this is how you raise money?
Well, I do think it's important that the party here raises money. That was one of the things that I did as Michigan chair in a state that people wrote off. They said, oh, it's a Democrat state. We never are going to invest in Michigan. So I didn't have a lot of national money coming into my state. So I had to do it as a chair.
Yep.
We want to give tools to help raise money, but you have to do it. And I think we can make some gains in the legislature in 2020 here in Guam, and we need to continue to fight for Republican leadership like the great Governor Calvo and others that have preceded him.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, we're in a place where we don't always echo the same national sentiment or the same national views on policies. For all intents and purposes, we don't have an illegal immigrant problem here on Guam, and we're not necessarily.
If people knew about it, they would come to Guam. If it were easier to get to, you'd have a lot more problems.
Well, I think that's the thing. We're surrounded by the oceans, but it's interesting around here. Maybe spend a little bit more time here and see the difference between and Pudding can tell you all about it. The difference between a Republican on Guam and a Democrat on Guam versus a Republican in the mainland, Republican in name, and Democrats in the mainland as well. It's just sometimes the topics will clash, and you'll see Republicans starting to look a lot more liberal, and liberals are looking a lot more conservative.
Well, part of my goal of being here is to learn and listen and get to know Guam better, to understand the issues, and also take that back to the members at the RNC, recognizing the importance of the territories, talk to the administration about the visit. I mean, these are things that I think are critical for our party to understand, and certainly people on the mainland understand the importance of Guam.
Last thing, because I know you're busy, but full court press on meeting the press here in the next couple of hours between now and the speech over at the Hyatt for the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if they told you about Guam Lady Governor.
Yes.
The people in charge of the legislature, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, the speaker there, lady. And then we've got the lady that runs the court. We have women
I didn't know that.
yeah, all
Okay.
3 branches of government are run by women. I will point out to the uninitiated, you, Ron, are a woman.
I am a woman.
And so what do we got to do to get more women involved? Number one, in politics, period. But more women involved in Republican politics, conservative values.
I think that's a great question. It's something I dealt with a lot as Michigan chair, recruiting women to run. Obviously, I don't support somebody just because they're a woman. Okay, let's just start there. But we do need more women involved in the conversation. They bring a different perspective. A couple things that I ran into traditionally were fundraising issues that women dealt with at a different level than male. And then, there was a Wall Street Journal article that said men will apply for a job if they're 60% qualified, women will apply if they're 100% qualified. And so reaching out, they actually do need that hand extended and say, we need you to run and get into the conversation. I think people like Elise Stefanik, who's created a PAC to help women in the primary. For a long time, our party recruits people, and then we say, okay, you're on your own. We'll see you in the general. You actually have to help them through the primary as well.
Yeah, well, there's sometimes around here I feel like there's cliques like in everything, and so when we were going through the last election, I know that there were some qualified Republican candidates that they, I don't know, maybe they didn't pass the smell test with the cool kids in the Republican Party, so they got the fold chairs, never got a whole lot of speech time, never got a whole lot of stage time with the primary candidates. So I think there needs to be a little bit more of a
thinking outside the box is good right now. It is good.
Well, how important is social media in a campaign in 2020?
Social media was critical for the president's win in 2016. Brad Parscale, who's the campaign manager.
Well, you had the Russians behind you, so you had that going for
Hey,
you.
no collusion, no obstruction. Mueller report, okay? Final word, done. Although the Democrats will bang that till 2020.
I know
They're
it.
never going to let it go.
Ever.
It's so funny. Hillary Clinton never came to Michigan. I don't think Russia had anything to do with that, okay? She was a terrible candidate, and Trump was thinking outside the box. But social media is critical. I think the Trump campaign, what they did with Facebook and Twitter are critical. I also think we have to hold these social media platforms accountable. We're starting to see more suppression of conservative voices. You're seeing algorithms being formed that somehow only affect conservatives and lower their ability to pop up in your newsfeed and things like that. So that is something that we have to hold them accountable for as well.
Well, a couple of interesting conversations on the Facebook Live. Unfortunately, I don't have time, and I normally, reach into some of these conversations and talk about, what it is that folks are saying. But we'll just have to do that on the video live, and maybe a little bit more chat on the other side of news. I do have to break away. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you coming to Guam, number one.
Thank you.
Ron,
I'm
it's
so thrilled to be
have-
here. I'm honored to be here.
Well, the honor. When are you leaving?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Just two
nights.
That's not enough.
Well, I have a 16 and a 14-year-old, so being away for a week has been pretty
You didn't
brutal.
leave them without adult supervision, did you?
Well, my husband's there, but that's
not adult supervision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been texting my kids since 3 in the morning.
Did you
Abigail, you have to do carpool today. Nash, you tutoring. So I have to keep everything going.
What was it? Were the lines in my house? Did you eat? Have they showered?
Exactly.
Are they still going to school every day?
My son left for the bus this morning and missed it, and we had to get him a ride to school. So, a week is about as long as I can be away.
All right. Well, if you're looking for some entertainment, running gunfight on the Facebook Live between some of the hardcore Republicans and the hardcore Democrats this will be a fun morning for the next couple of minutes.
Republicans. Go Republicans.
Yes, engage. I know we're rolling our eyes every time you bring up the same topics we've debunked 100 times, but here we go again. 10 after the hour. Headlines with news with Kevin Kerrigan coming up in a second. We'll see if we can scare up a quick look at some sports as well. Ronna McDaniel going to be speaking today at the Hyatt Regency Guam at the Chambers meeting from 11:30 until 1:30. Limited tour on Guam, so make sure that you get a chance to see her. Juan?
Yes. I just want to plug our event tonight at the Pacific Star.
Oh, you didn't send me that.
Yeah. So the Republican Party is inviting all to come and join and have an opportunity to meet and listen to our chairman and talk about her visit to Guam, and it's going to be our goodbye party to her. It's a come all and be all. It's a free event.
I got you. Where again and what time?
It's at the Pacific Star Hotel. Starts at 7 to 9 p.m.
Going to be perfect. All right, 8:11 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show. We'll take a quick break. Maybe grab a couple of selfies. Kevin Kerrigan with news in a moment.
Shrimp and guacamole for Lent at Subway. The all-new shrimp and guacamole combines generous portions of whole shrimp and a spread of guacamole served on freshly baked bread, paired with vegetables cut fresh daily in restaurants and sauces that are sure to excite your taste buds. Hurry in, it's only available for a limited time. Other fresh Lenten flavors include the classic tuna or the mouth-watering greatness of our seafood sensation. Don't forget the Veggie Max, a delicious and tasty vegetarian patty. Visit any of our convenient locations today. At Subway, you make it what you want.
Attention homeowners, MRE solar energy systems now come with battery storage for zero money down. This means that your home will have power even when the island power isn't available, like during power outages or during and after storms. The inconvenience of not having power for your home is a thing of the past. It's solar with battery storage exclusively by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Don't be left in the dark. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a seafood celebration on the Lent menu, now back at King's Restaurants. Your tasty favorites like salmon curry, orange shrimp, and whole deep-fried parrotfish will have you swimming with flavors from the sea. Our fried rice with salmon or shrimp will make ordering easy and delicious. It's a seafood celebration on the Lent menu. Available all day, every day, just for Lent, and only at King's.
The GCC Votech Class of 79 is back. Join them on April 27th at the Onward Beach Hotel for a night of dinner, dancing, skits, and reminiscing. It's been 40 years since graduation, so take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime chance to relive the memories. There's also a memorial mass on Friday, the 26th, at the Santa Teresita Church. Be there at 5:30 for candle placement in honor of classmates who've gone before. Tickets for the reunion on the 27th are on sale for $40 a person. For details, find Connie Kittigwas and Nicholas at 488-6108 or Kathy Diaz, 777-3243. Viva 79ers!
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 14 minutes now past 8 o'clock. I'm Kevin Kerrigan, and here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guam police are now reporting that this morning's early morning crash in Agate was fatal. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau says that Route 2 has now been reopened. The crash occurred along Route 2 about 4 a.m. this morning, caused traffic to be diverted for about 2 hours early this morning. No further details on that traffic death are available at this time. Superior Court Judge Michael Bordallo yesterday setting a $250,000 cash bail for 53-year-old Paul Santos Mafnes Jr., who was arrested Saturday in connection with the kidnapping and sexual assault of a 10-year-old girl in Tamuning last Thursday. According to court documents, Mafnes kidnapped the girl on her way to school and sexually assaulted her at gunpoint in an abandoned Tamuning parking lot. Mafnes was arrested Saturday after he was identified in a photo lineup, and according to the magistrate complaint, he admitted that he was involved in the kidnapping and had inappropriately touched the child. He told investigators that sexually assaulting female minors is an addiction of his that he cannot resist. Assistant Attorney General Sean Brown telling the court yesterday that Mafnes's conduct is some of the most egregious that he has ever seen as a prosecutor. He pointed out that Mafnes spent 18 years in prison for a very similar crime that occurred back in 1999, and for those reasons, he said, the people are asking for a $250,000 cash bail. Mafnes appeared at the magistrate hearing yesterday via closed-circuit TV from the Agana Detention Facility, where he remains in custody. Speaker Tina Muñoz-Barnes has introduced a bill that would allow 2 health care plans to be selected by GovGuam's health insurance negotiating team. Both would be recommended to Governor Lulian Guerrero for a final decision. Bill number 94-35 proposes to amend the current law, which currently requires the selection of only one health insurance plan offered by just one company. According to the current law, that one plan must be the most economical and beneficial health care insurance proposal submitted by the competing health insurance providers. Barnes's bill also defines most beneficial as being a plan that provides a broad and comprehensive network of medical providers both on and off island, and a plan that has met the required minimum benefits and offers reasonable and sustainable rates. We'll have more news after this.
Are you waiting too long for a home loan decision? Are you looking for a bank that understands your needs and can close your loan quickly at today's super low rates? Then come no further than Bank Pacific. Our home loan specialists are friends and neighbors from your community, and our decisions are made right here in Hagåtña. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
Get a free Polar Pop, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
17 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Island tourism officials are gearing up for a surge in Japanese arrivals at the end of this month when more than 11,500 visitors are expected to arrive on island during the Golden Week holiday. At a news conference yesterday morning, GVB President Pilar Laguana said this will be the biggest Golden Week that we've ever experienced, and she called on the island community and local businesses to prepare for the increase in Japanese visitors. Golden Week is a collection of 4 Japanese national holidays that usually lasts only 7 days. This year, however, Japan has extended the length of the holiday to 10 days in celebration of Crown Prince Naruhito's ascension to the chrysanthemum throne when his father, Emperor Akihito, steps down on April 30th. Golden Week runs from April 24th to May 5th this year. Vendors interested in taking part in the 75th Liberation Day Carnival Island Fair can pick up packets at the Mayor's Office of Guam in Hagåtña today, or you can find the bid packages online at the Mayor's Council of Guam website. The Mayor's Council issued a release yesterday saying they're looking for vendors who can offer games of skill, but not chance yet, as well as food vendors and other vendors who sell plants, souvenirs, and trinkets. The annual carnival scheduled to last about 60 days from June 5th through August 11th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at some weather.
Yeah, don't need to spend a lot of time on this because we got to jump into sports with Blake Watson here in just a second. Just partly cloudy skies, some isolated light showers. Easterly winds to about 20 miles an hour, decreasing 10 to 15 miles an hour tonight. We'll get to tonight about 6:34 because that sunrise tomorrow morning, crack of 6:06, I believe. I do have time to throw the radar image up, but let me just refresh it and make sure I've got the latest new and improved graphic that Mike will be able to riff on here.
Looking down to the south, got some showers, some of them clipping the southern end of the island, but really for the most of us, really nothing much going on. May see a stray shower. This morning, looking at satellite, we can see all of the moisture down to the south in the intertropical convergence zone, which is where it will stay. There is some blobbage down there that's not going to even bother us whatsoever. The forecast basically showing dry for several days, so expect more of the same.
Roger that. It's 20 after 8 o'clock in the morning. Quick break, and Blake Watson next.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
I got to do this. I got to tell everybody all about these guys, big sponsors of the program. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let the blanket. Portion of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL, American President Lines is shipping the future. Micronesia renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for all of your specialty care needs. And of course, the guys over at King's Restaurant, they've got the incredible Lenten menu, still good until Lent is all over. They've consolidated all your favorite seafood flavors in one spot on the menu so you can make it through Lent that much faster. Do I keep going? Yes, First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes, and of course, friends at Take Care, Cars Plus, Jan and Joey and Dunge, and then we've got Security Title. Ron and Kim want to take your real estate life and make it simple. That's what they do. They take the complex and lay it out so that you all understand how to make it through even some heavy-duty real estate transactions at Security Title.
Hey, are you ready to afford the good life? For example, cooking in a gourmet kitchen that is as amazing as your skills. Or how about paying off tuition? Or maybe expanding your home to make room for your parents? Live beyond your dreams, within your means, with a low-rate home equity line of credit from First Hawaiian Bank. To learn more or to apply, visit any branch or FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
No, I already did those guys. I already talked about Cars Plus. I just need to tell you about Wendy's now, where they've got that. It started in Lent, and they thought they ordered enough, but they didn't. So they had to get more North Pacific cod fillets in so that they could make the North Pacific cod fillet sandwich as part of their combo. So it starts with a salad, then you get the sandwich, and then we've got this honest green tea that they want you to have. So simple, clean, and honest meal for a limited time at Wendy's.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Man, it's still going on. They're still fighting about Republican and Democrats on the Facebook Live. Jess Limtiaco says, GOP lost big time here on Guam. They're going to need all the help they can get. Agree. Lady D says the governor needs to keep her promises. Patrick comes back, says Guam's first and hopefully last female governor continues on a rich tradition of Chamorro culture of corruption. Fita Roberto, after chronic mismanagement of the Republican administration, the MAGA Haga will keep her promises with all those educated, knowledgeable, and leadership professional people backing her administration. But wait, here comes Ken LG, the other Governor Leon Guerrero, not based on the budget she submitted nor anything she said in her State of the Island address, unless you read and heard something different. And I think this is just going to keep going. Cousin Bob O'Malley says governor kept her promises when she signed the pot bill into law. Okay, that's it. Is that going to be the high water mark of the administration? I mean, I'm okay if it is. I'm just saying, 8:23 in the morning. Time for sports with Blake. I don't think that she advocated against violence against Nancy Pelosi. Did you get that? There was somebody.
She actually specifically said the opposite.
Yeah,
she says, "I don't want to say anything. No violence. Blah blah blah." Yep. Well, I don't know.
Besides, Republicans aren't the violence party. From near as I can tell, the most of the violence that I've seen, it's on Twitters and Facebook, comes from the deranged lefties with the Trump syndrome.
I'm sorry, but everyone I got punched in the nose by was Republican.
Yep. Really?
Yeah.
Why? Why did you get punched in the nose by a Republican?
Oh, that was in Texas. That was some time ago.
Just
it's pretty much everybody. So anybody punches you, punch in the nose.
It's just why? Because the sun came up this morning. It had nothing to do with their Democrat, their Republican, or political background.
I didn't say it had anything to do with it. I just said that was what they were.
Cam Duvall says, you asked for it, Ray. You got it. All right. 8:24. Blake's in the studio. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I have, today's Jackie Robinson Day in the Major League Baseball. So if you happen to catch yourself watching any baseball this morning, if anybody does, and you wonder why everybody's wearing number 42, because they all do. That's the tradition. Everybody wears, it's Jackie Robinson Day. And I was poring over the stats from his very first game ever. Mm-hmm. The Brooklyn Dodgers taking on the Boston Braves, Tuesday, April 15th, 1947, Ebbets Field, day game on grass. 26,000 fans were on hand to see Jackie Robinson break the color barrier in baseball. The Dodgers won 5-3, and Jackie Robinson was, which is very interesting. He had 4 plate appearances, 3 at bats. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
Yeah, because one was a walk.
Okay.
Yeah, you only get credit for you don't get credit for an at bat.
I got
Interesting.
you.
Okay.
So he was 0 for 3. He did not get a hit. However, he like I said, he walked, and I believe if I watched the movie correctly, number 42, I don't think he actually got walked. I think he was hit.
Yeah, that's
because it was his first
ping-pong,
game. Yeah, it was his first game, and he was the first African American to be playing the white man's baseball. And but he did. There was one notable play he did have. He did help turn a double play, I think, early on in the game. There you go. If you see everybody joining or wearing 42 today, it's Jackie Robinson Day. They all have patches and all kinds of cool things here locally. This is interesting, Ray, because the Wrestling Oceania Championships will be hosted by Guam this weekend. Guam's going to host the United World Wrestling Oceania Championships again, April 20th and the 21st. That is this Saturday and Sunday. It's going to happen out at Leo Palace down at the ballroom. 12 wrestlers from Guam competing in the championships, 3 women, 9 men. And they will be, I guess, coached by Guam Amateur Wrestling Federation President, longtime wrestling name, Tony Aquino. 86 wrestlers registered to compete in the competition throughout the weekend. From areas such as American Samoa, Australia, Federated States of Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, Nauru, New Zealand, and the Solomon Islands. Now, all this is, of course, just the first phase.
It's like a wrestling fest pack.
I know. It's the first phase of many qualifiers, and of course, it's at all instead of roads all leading to Rome, they're all leading to Tokyo 2020 Olympics, which of course is going to happen in Tokyo in 2020. So those who will take a top spot will be able to compete in the next stage, which will be the World Wrestling Championships in September. Tony Aquino said those who place in the top 6 at the World Championships will earn an Olympic spot.
What sport is Kyle Uggan in?
He is an MMA fighter. He's also, I believe, in the sport of money. I think he works at a bank.
Oh,
as well. That's why his middle name.
He's like a bank guy,
and I also think that's why his nickname is Kyle Money Uggan, because I believe he works at. I think he still works at the bank. I know he did. He was doing both, fighting and working at the bank. I'm pretty sure he's probably still at the bank.
So he's supposed to be moving up in the ranks, according to J. Leon Guerrero from GSPN.
Yeah, he's got a shot at the not the pancreas, but the pancreas. I think it's called pancreas.
So wait. Now, if I get a loan from his bank and I don't make a payment, is he going to come beat me up?
He just might.
Well, he wouldn't have to beat you up. Maybe just kind of.
That really would be all it takes. Yeah,
just shake you down a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So he is pancreas, I believe, is what he has. He's got a.
Says it could be a title match the next time he goes out. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
Also interesting, Game of Thrones. Did you watch?
I have not. You know why? I had to order a new. Actually, from Kyle's bank, I had to order a new card because I guess the fancy chip card in mine either got damaged or something. Certain random places stopped taking it, but only random places. And so they had to order me a new one. So now this one works. But
so the little chip in the card went south?
Yeah, the thing is some of the ATMs, it would work, and some of them would be like, oh, we can't read your card. Please call your financial institution.
Okay.
And
so
also some, right. And
it's either or, right? So it's either the chip or the magnet.
Well, but in the ATM, it's only you just kind of put it in and it reads the whole thing. But yeah, there have been some grocery stores and some just randomly, because some of the locations of the grocery store, some Paylesses, it'll take it. And other ones, it'll say chip malfunction, please swipe, when I swipe, it says card detected, please insert card. So it's just the whole deal. So anyway, they had to order me a brand new one. It works. And the old number, because I just got it in last week, the old number is still on my HBO account. So I think that they shut me off. I just got to make the changes. But once I do, I am on Game of Thrones. It's hard, though, because I got to stay off the internet because everything I've seen is either Tiger Woods wins the Masters, Notre Dame is burning, or apparently Westeros is burning. Yeah. So everything's on fire.
I don't know if Westeros. I don't want to say no because I don't want to lead anything into it. There was some nice dragon riding.
That's what I heard. I heard JS is on the dragon. I heard he figures out who he is. So
well, they told him. They told him.
Yeah.
But he took it wrong for what I thought were the wrong reasons.
Oh.
And I'm looking at it going, it doesn't bother you that you're getting with your
auntie?
Kind of.
What's his auntie? And Jon Snow's not his real name, which everybody knows because
because we all watched the last season,
right? And we all know what snow means. It means him without a father in Westeros.
Informer.
Yeah,
that guy. So up on Facebook, speaking of Notre Dame, I checked with a friend of mine, Arlene, and Arlene just recently came back from a whirlwind European tour, which did in fact take her to the Notre Dame. So there's a picture of Arlene prettying Paris and Notre Dame up, and she, like everybody else, sad about the news of the fire. In fact, that's one of the things that you'll see a lot for people that have gone that we know from Guam that have gone to Notre Dame. They are now reposting the pictures that they took of them and their families in front of that storied church. Absolutely beautiful. I'm talking about Arlene, not the church.
Did you see? You saw what they said, right? The good news, if any, that the fire chief came out. This is maybe about an hour or so ago, about an hour and 10 minutes ago. And what might be the best news possible under the circumstances? Paris police chief said that Notre Dame's structure has been saved and the fire stopped from spreading to the northern belfry. In fact, they say both towers are going to be safe. Now, the spire did burn and fall, but both towers are going to be safe, and they saved, I guess, a big portion of what they could. So
that's good
news.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming in this morning. I don't know about any 5Ks that are coming up this week. The back of the Guam Daily Post doesn't have anything. If you've got something, let me know about it. Be happy to get that on the air for you. We got baseball tonight.
Yep, Guam Major League Baseball action at Paseo Stadium. Your team taking on the Junior Nationals at 7 p.m.
And that's all you need to know about sports on a Tuesday morning, 8:32 in the morning. Blake's going to go finish the morning show on Star 101. You're welcome to join me over here. But the interesting comment that is made by Nate Horn with the running gun battle here going on about Republicans and Democrats and who screwed who when. Nate Horn says, Ray, this back and forth shows that you're a draw for both sides of the aisle. You're not surrounded by yes men. Everybody got different views, and you know what? I appreciate that. I appreciate being someplace where we can all get together and still have a cordial exchange of ideas, even though I think you're a dumbass. I'm just kidding. It's 8:32 in the morning, and headlines next with Kevin Kerrigan.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Have you seen the legislature's website? Last week I was complaining because I hadn't seen any new bills. And since then, there have been an incredible number of bills that have been introduced over at the legislature. Remind me at some point in the program to go over some of the more interesting ones.
94.
We're up to 94, up to and including one that would reset again how we do health insurance for employees, retirees, and foster kids in the government of Guam. More on that in a couple of minutes. It's 8:33 right now from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan in today's headlines.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division is investigating a traffic fatality that occurred in Agate early this morning. Guam Police Department spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau says the crash happened on Route 2 about 4 a.m. Details have not yet been released. Northbound lanes were closed off for several hours this morning, but they have since reopened. A 17-year-old girl took the stand yesterday and testified that Pastor Renato Capilli-Bossi touched her inappropriately on multiple occasions 3 years ago. The girl fought back tears as she recounted the incidents that occurred when she was 14 years old in the care of Bossi while her parents were away. She accused Bossi of touching her buttocks and her groin area and forcing her to kiss him. She also said Bossi later called her on multiple occasions and sent her inappropriate emails. The girl's father also testified yesterday, saying his daughter's behavior changed. Before she was a sweet girl, he said, then she became more irritable. Bossi was the pastor at the Living Lighthouse Church in Barragata. The trial resumes this morning. A $5,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for shooting a pet dog in Dedido. David Silva said the family's 8-year-old blue Doberman named Sumo wandered off on Friday morning And the dog was later found shot dead less than 200 yards from their home on Lily Street in Dedido. A veterinarian who examined the dog determined that the wounds were caused by bullets fired from a small caliber weapon aimed at a location on the dog's body intended to kill the dog. In a statement to the media yesterday, Guam Animals in Need President Cyrus Lohr said, "We remind everyone that it is illegal to shoot a dog, and the only exception is if you're defending your life or livestock against a vicious animal. Anyone with information about the dog's death is asked to call GPD's Dedido precinct at 632-9808 or Guam Crime Stoppers at 477-HELP. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Hey, that's iConnect time at 8:36. Call them 888-8888 and ask them about great push-to-talk plans. Maybe you want to get out from under communicating with cell phone, maybe something that's a little bit more like a two-way radio. Well, that's what push-to-talk is. And iConnect's the only game in town for push-to-talk technology. Call them again, 888-8888.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Man, we shouldn't even need to do traffic reports on this Holy Week because there's nothing going on out there. I don't see any major traffic issues. You might maybe a little bit over at 1 and 3, mostly on the 3 side. 8, 10, and 16 looking fairly clear. Intersections over at 10 and 15, little bit busy. Might scare up a little bit of traffic trying to get into and around the port area down Petey Way, but otherwise everything else is running pretty clear here today. It's 8:37 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show continues on the other side of these.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2019 as National Earth Month with the return of our Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Join us on Saturday, April 20 at the Agana Shopping Center from 3 to 5 p.m. and vote for the best mascot display. Second place wins $250 and first place wins $500. The 2019 Upcycle Mascot Showdown is brought to you by the Agana Shopping Center, Lolita Kamet from Remax Diamond Realty, Underwater World, Sylvan Learning Center, Family Finance, Buddy's Home Furnishings, Gumamon the Guamster, and Pitbull Empire.
Clean living, that's what it's all about. 8:38 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Hey, you guys on the Facebook Live, we got something else to fight about now. I just had the lady from the Republican National Committee sitting in that chair just a few minutes ago, and as you might imagine, there's some people that are kind of back and forth, about who's right, who's wrong, because it's politics in 2019. Probably the unhealthiest thing that you can get into in these days, because it can't be good for anybody's blood pressure.
Well, there's so much stress out there, Ray, but the exciting thing is there's all kinds of stuff that can make a huge difference, and that's what we're talking about while we're here in Guam.
Yeah, well, let me get the introductions around. Dr. David DeRose is in the studio, and you mentioned her name, but I forgot real fast.
It's Sonia.
Hi, Sonia. Welcome to Guam.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Now, when did you guys come in?
Last night.
What'd you eat? Did they take you someplace to eat, or did you just do one of those, I gotta lay down, I have got to get to the bed?
Well, we actually typically don't eat a big meal in the evening. Actually, don't eat in the evenings, and we had already had a meal on the plane not that long before, so we elected to go to bed, get some sleep after a very long trip.
Mike has probably got a bag of chips or some candy in the back if you want to.
Oh, thank you. We had a great breakfast this morning.
All right, I'm glad to hear that. Carm, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. It's nice to see you. I got a note says you got to get a hold of Carmen Casperbauer, and I thought we were talking about your mother-in-law.
I know people always think that.
Wait a second.
So how do I prepare for this?
Well, no. So my first thought in my head is, oh my God, I'm in trouble. That's the way I'm in trouble. If I got to do something with Auntie Carmen, then I must have stepped out of line somewhere, and she caught wind of it. And as one of my oldest living relatives, she's got all of the rights left in the family to be able to scold me when the time comes. Anyway, so Dr. David DeRose in the studio and on Guam for a series of get-togethers that will start. You're going to be here for a while, April 22 through the 25th over at the Hilton, and it is a program entitled "Get Your Life Back." Learn to live sharper, leaner, longer, and better in 30 days or less. All right, I'm down for a 30-day challenge. What's involved?
Tremendous. It's exciting. We're talking about what we call the Methuselah factor, Ray.
Now, and I had to look it up because
Did you? Okay.
Born and raised Catholic, but I think I skipped that part of the Bible reading about a guy that lived to be 969 years old.
You got it. You nailed it. Exactly. What I say to people, I'm a physician, okay? I say, I don't know what Methuselah's blood work looked like, but I can be sure that having lived 969 years, he had great blood fluidity. Methuselah factor, Ray, is the science of blood fluidity. We call it hemorrheology in the medical community.
Okay, so I've never heard of it, and in fact, I've got it underlined here in the notes. Audience members will learn how to improve their blood fluidity. So describe to me blood fluidity.
Well, hemorrheology, or blood fluidity, it's the science really of what helps your circulation be optimal. And so we look at the things that actually can decrease your risk of stroke, heart attack, cancer, how it can help your mental clarity, how it can help physical performance. Athletes actually, if they improve their blood fluidity, if blood flows better through their circulation, they actually perform better.
Okay, so I'm a manager, so I believe that all management comes down to numbers. What is a good blood fluidity ratio, or what's not, and how do I find out?
Here's the crazy thing. Nobody measures these tests. You walk into your doctor's office, no one measures a blood viscosity. They're not measuring fibrinogen. All these technical things. You say, well, how important are they? It can cut your risk of heart attack fourfold, Ray. This is powerful stuff. We're showing people you don't have to do all the measurements. Just get on a 30-day program. We'll help you improve your blood fluidity.
Okay, so I'll bite because, athlete, I just did a marathon the other day. I'm not the cleanest eater in the world. My diet consists of pork and beans and hamburgers and beer.
I'm excited already because one of the day 4 of the program, we say eat more beans, and you're eating the beans. I'm excited. You're right on the right track.
Probably the most efficient thing that you can buy in the store is
powerful
you
stuff.
take a look at how many calories that comes in a serving, but see how much protein that goes into it as well. And literally out of a can of pork and beans, you can get a steak's worth of protein without all the calories that go into it.
Beans are powerful.
in many ways. Hey, let's do a little bit of background before we get back into the fluidity conversation, because I do want to hear about some of the things that I might be able to do to now I want to increase the fluidity, right?
That's right.
Okay, so
make it more fluid.
Okay, so I'm thinking more beer.
You're actually on the right track because it is more fluids, but the best fluid is water when it comes to blood fluidity.
Yeah, I'm okay with water, but generally when I'm working out, when I feel like I need to get hydrated, I've never been one of those persons that could start the day and say, okay, I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water today. I could do that with beer easily, but I don't know what it is. Water, on the other hand, that's a struggle. It's a chore.
Well, listen, as long as you realize that the water is powerful, I'm already feeling very comfortable with you. Now,
okay.
if you thought you were...
Well, it's because we're both radio guys.
You got it. You got it.
Thing. Now, you do a radio show
I
now,
do.
right?
I do a weekly show.
Where's that? Where's it air?
It goes on about 200 stations. It's a syndicated show, and it's especially focused on health issues that relate to Native Americans. So I travel around the U.S. I was just actually speaking to a Native group in Tulsa, Oklahoma, just a few days ago, literally.
They tell me that diets, exercise regimes, tolerance for different things. Guamanians are very similar to Native Americans.
It's fascinating, and what we find is that those genetics, although they predispose to diseases like high blood pressure and diabetes, if individuals with that genetic background, like indigenous peoples have, get on a healthy lifestyle, it can reverse disease very quickly.
Yeah, easier said than done in 2019.
You're right. It is easier said than done, but we got to start saying it before we do it, right?
But we've been talking about diet and exercise for millennia around here, and there's still that last 10 pounds. There's still people, you can see them every January, and they start walking around the tracks, and they start shopping around for new Nikes and Under Armours, and then usually by February, they're back on the couch.
One of my favorite talks to give is called Changing Bad Habits for Good. So we'll be speaking about that in some venues here in Guam, as well as in Palau coming up. So we've got some stuff to help people with tools to make changes, and that's included in our book, The Methuselah Factor, as well as in the lectures.
Well, you've got books from all over the place. Now, let's see if we can sell a couple here this morning, and obviously you can buy a bound book or a paperback book, but you've also got some stuff in the Kindle library as well.
We do. So the best-selling book that we've got out there right now is called 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control. It's consistently one of the top Kindle bestsellers in preventive medicine. The Methuselah Factor is our newest book, but they're both on Kindle. You can get hard copies on Amazon or get the electronic copies.
Let me go back to that first book that you mentioned, 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control. Natural is very important. We have recently, 4 years ago, we had a referendum and for our own parts legalized medicinal use of marijuana. There's been a change in the Farm Bill, so CBDs and non-THC derivatives of hemp are now flooding the market. Very natural kind of approach to it. And we just recently passed a law allowing for recreational marijuana, which would make virtually universal people's abilities to get a hold of THC product that might help them through some of these things in a more natural way. What is your position on cannabinoids? And
well, we
THC?
actually tackle THC in particular in the book, 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control, and we tackle it in the stress management chapter. So definitely, there's a lot of people that are using the marijuana products to deal with stress.
Never heard of that.
I know. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy to some people who haven't used, but a lot of the folks that are users, they say, hey, that's one of the reasons I'm using it. But we actually share, Ray, I'll be honest with you, some of the downsides with it. So there are some long-term negative behavioral consequences.
And that's all the time we have for the program today. Nice to meet you. Have a good time at the Nobody wants to hear that. We just passed the thing.
I know, but
we don't want frowny faces.
I know. That's why I'm smiling while I'm talking about it. Yeah.
Well, okay. So there's another one of these albites. Okay, Doc. So what do you think the downsides are?
Well, the downside, they're behavioral downsides. There's motivational downsides. That's one of the big ones. I mean, chronic marijuana users often end up with an amotivational syndrome where it just kind of takes some of that drive away. And you might say, well, that's good because we get so stressed. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying there aren't some stress management benefits, but I'm saying there are some other options for stress management that we often don't talk about, and we handle those as well in the book.
Well, I guess it's how you define chronic use. I mean, it's daily, hourly.
Right.
I mean, if somebody's just Friday night taking a toke to take the edge off the week, that's not chronic misuse of it, certainly.
I mean, here's my approach. I'm an educator. I'm not a legislator. So when people come to see me as a physician or when they come to my lectures, I'm trying to give them a range of things that they can choose from. So we don't take people's bad habits from them. We don't cooperate with the bad habit police in any community. So people are really safe coming out to our meetings and buying our books and resources.
How much are these meetings? How much is it going to cost me? You're going to nick me in the credit card this?
They're expensive. I mean, we had to come all the way from California.
Sure.
But the good news is the Guam SDA clinic, they're footing the bill. So everybody can come free. The beautiful venue there at the Hilton.
Yes.
It's going to be great, and no one has to pay anything.
Get your life back. How to live sharper, leaner, longer, and better in 30 days or less. Now, I'm assuming that because we're using the word natural a lot, that you probably tend to shy away from regular prescription medicines.
That's the goal. The goal is actually. We're talking.
So you and I are on the same page. I was in pain after the marathon. I took an Advil and I hated it. I don't like to take pills.
I understand exactly.
Yeah.
So in the blood pressure book, we have a section talking about non-pharmacologic pain relievers because a lot of people are taking the Advils, the ibuprofens. It's raising their blood pressure. People with high blood pressure, that can raise their blood pressure 10 or 15 points.
Oh, imagine what it's doing to the liver, too.
Exactly. I mean, it's tough on the body. So really, if you need something, we're not saying you can't ever use those things, but we're saying just be educated about other natural options.
So more homeopathic then?
Some people like the word homeopathic. Actually, technically, homeopathy is a specific discipline.
Yeah.
We like the term natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like natural as well. I mean, there's whole sections of pick any vitamin store on Guam, and there are all of these natural remedies.
Exactly.
And natural boosters for all kinds of things. I mean, there's, if you've got hangnails, if you got, problems with your breath, trust me, there's a little bottle that you can buy at the store. Actually, one of the problems that I found is they're a little bit too descriptive. So you pick up the bottle and you take it to the counter, and the lady kind of looks at you like, well, I didn't know you had that problem, Mr. Gibson. I hope it gets better sometime soon. No, it's all right, really. And so there are all of these other things that are out there. Is there a particular cocktail that you can put together for a variety of certain symptoms?
Well, here's our approach. I've worked with people for decades, really. You may not tell that I just didn't graduate from medical school. I mean, we can get away with saying stuff like that on the radio, right? No. The point is this, Ray. There's nothing as powerful as a comprehensive lifestyle approach. So the kind of stuff you're prioritizing, getting regular exercise, that's more powerful than any supplement that I can give somebody.
Yeah.
So it's that lifestyle theme that we talk about. Sure, we've got stuff about L-arginine that has natural blood pressure lowering properties. We talk about coenzyme Q10. We talk about hibiscus tea. So there are things that you'd think of in the health food store, but we're talking about the broader areas too. Controlling stress, social connectedness. This is huge, especially in today's digital world. People say, "Oh, I'm connected with people all over the world." I was just talking with someone in Ghana, on Facebook. But we're very disconnected. Getting more connected with our communities, and that's what I love about community events.
Yeah.
Come out, get connected with other people as well as the information. Don't think you can get something as good on air. Air is great. I love radio, but you got to come out to the meetings.
Yeah, if for no other reason, the communal experience is very important.
That's right. That's right.
And you're right. One of the things that it's my goal for 2019 is I've got a lot of friends. I have many acquaintances, and so one of the things that I kind of want to drill into is to get a little bit more involved in some of these relationships.
Excellent.
Find people that I can say, okay, that's not just a friend of mine. I want that person to be my very good friend. Dinners, movies, hang out at the beach, all of those kinds of things.
Good for you.
That make these nice connections. And I think there are some health benefits to all of that.
It's amazing.
I think there's longevity benefits.
There is. And if you look at the longest lived communities, you may have heard of the Blue Zones. So this was popularized by National Geographic, best-selling book. They looked at people that were the longest lived in the world. One of the keys, social connectedness.
Everybody's got to get together every once in a while.
That's right. And why not connect with people who have good habits and are interested in the same things you are?
Because we like rich, fatty foods here, Doc. I think that's one of the things, the give and take of the social connectiveness that we have is one of the things that we like to do, and it's deeply ingrained into our culture. Carmen knows this. The first thing that somebody asks you when you come to their house was two things. Number one is, can you take your shoes off? And number two is, did you eat? Have you eaten yet? Never mind, I know you're hungry. Let me just come on in and I'll give you something to eat, even if it's just a candy bar or something out of the refrigerator. But more often than not, I think about some of the social get-togethers that I have with friends, and they're all centered around food.
This is so common. In the talk that I give, Changing Bad Habits for Good, I talk about how for many of us, if we've got weight issues, we have to unlearn some of these connections. So eating is not just something you do at any point. You want to really ideally eat to satisfy your hunger. And we're finding that people, as they kind of learn together some of these things, they kind of change. If I'm going through a program with a friend, instead of inviting them to eat something when they show up at the house, give them a refreshing glass of water with a lemon in it, if you don't like the plain water in your case.
So
okay?
you haven't taken him out to dinner yet, have you? I'm thinking there's a couple of places that will test your willpower.
Okay. Well, Carmen will find him. I can be sure.
Wednesday night, Chamorro Village, anywhere.
Okay.
Any stall, anywhere. There's going to be enough food that you'll look at it, and all of it will. It will be one of those where it would be very hard for you to push away from the plate.
But here's the point, Ray. It's not that we don't enjoy those things. The idea is, how do we really kind of live within a reasonable amount of discipline? You had to be very disciplined to run a marathon, right?
That's what they told me, yes.
Okay. So basically, it's this idea of looking, instead of looking at discipline as a bad word, realize that it's a tool. And so it can help you perform better. It can help you live leaner, longer, sharper, better. That's the subtitle of our Methuselah Factor book.
Well, let me push on to a couple of other things. There's a holistic view to healthcare anymore, and so we've got the body is taken care of. What more can we do for the mind and the spirit? And how do you touch on that in your lectures?
We do it. This is so important. So the spiritual dimension is one of the more challenging, because a lot of people, they hear spiritual, Ray, and they think religion, they think church.
Dogma.
Yeah, we're trying to help people say, look at the bigger picture. What are kind of values, spiritual values? So these are things that talk to us about meaning and purpose. Everybody has that dimension. The atheist has that dimension, the agnostic. So it's not a church thing. When we first looked at it in the book 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control, we said, there's 8 values that as we look throughout the world, that kind of cut across lines. There are things like humility. There are things like kindness. There are things like mediation. How do we get along together? So we looked at these 8 timeless prescriptions for health and wholeness. And we basically show how medical science is showing that these things help. We say it doesn't matter. I mean, on the grand scheme of things, of course it matters. But I'm just saying, as far as these health benefits, it doesn't matter what your spiritual brand is, these principles can help you.
As long as you have something that you can go to. Yeah, I'm thinking desiderata in my head. That in and of itself is a great recipe, I think, for success in all things. When you start trying to sort out what's important, what needs to be a priority in my life.
Yeah, and in Indian country, they used to, have the vision quest. I mean, some still do it. So they go away from everything and try to see, what's their meaning and purpose? What are they called to do? And really, we're trying to help people connect with this. In the Methuselah Factor book, it's a specific 30-day program. We say, let's learn from the cultures throughout the world. What do? They take a day a week and they rest and refresh. They have some time for spiritual reflection. So we say, whether you're an agnostic or an atheist, do this.
Yeah.
As you're going through this 30-day program, take one day off a week and focus on these kind of things.
Any recommendations on how to get into that place? I mean, I know mine. I'll tell you in a second. But, what is your reflection routine?
Well, I'll tell you what mine is. First thing in the morning, no media at all. So I get up and I take time for what I would call kind of my own spiritual life. I take some time to pray. I take some time to reflect on spiritual themes. So that's what I do.
That's
Read
right
something.
out of 7 Habits.
That's amazing stuff. But really, it kind of focuses my whole day. So no email, no text, everything's off. Even my wife and I, we love each other dearly, but we don't talk until we've had that spiritual connected time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is there, and that's just at the house. But the one day a week, I mean, are there personal retreats that you guys will go on just to make that spiritual connection?
Sure. We attend a church weekly, and there's not only spiritual benefit from that, there's social connectedness with your, like-minded people there. Then often in the afternoons, either maybe we'll go reach out with a group of people to homeless people or to a nursing home, or we'll go hiking, do something out in nature.
Yeah. So there's an intention.
It's an intended purpose to spend time with family, with connecting with spiritual, with God, and just taking time away, putting aside the worries of the week.
A couple of minutes left in the program. I presume, and you guys look like a happy couple.
We are.
And so I assume that this is something that you'd want to go to with your significant other.
It's powerful if you can. But if you're in a different place, still focus on that time for yourself individually.
Yeah. Well, mine is there's a couple of sandy spots on this side of the island that I like to go to, and it's a place that my producer knows what I refer to it as. It's grill marks, and so I'll get out there, lay out in the sun.
Okay.
I got my cooler with some refreshments in it, and I got the headphones playing in my head, and I just sit out there and watch the ocean and connect with nature.
Very nice. That's powerful.
And sometimes I'll connect with the people on the beach, and sometimes that connection is a glance, and sometimes it's a conversation. You just never know what it's going to be, but it is kind of crazy fun. I was going to say it's time to sell some tickets, but there's nothing to sell here. It's going to be Monday through Thursday, April 22 to 25 at the Guam Hilton, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening. Do I need to go to the SDA and get tickets? Do I need to? Is there like an Eventbrite or something?
No. You know what? Actually, Ray, we're just trying to publicize this as much as we can through the media. But I did want to mention, so all they have to do is, it's first come, first serve. So they're going to come to the Hilton. We see that it starts at 6 o'clock. If they can get there by 5:30, they can sign in, and then we'll go ahead and let them into the ballroom. It is open to the public,
Gotcha.
but 12 years and older. 12 years and older.
Oh,
So some of them will bring their kids, and it's just because the message, we want to make sure that people can focus on it. There's no distraction, and it just works well for everybody when we do it that way.
About how long is the presentation?
Typically, we'll go an hour to an hour and a half. We often take question and answers depending on the venue.
And the books will be available?
Books will be available.
Perfect. I like it. Doc, thanks very much for coming in.
Hey, thank you, Ray.
Carmen, thanks for hooking me up with these people. I'll see if I can actually make one of these things because it sounds like an interesting get-together. 4 nights only, free admission over at the Hilton starting April the 22nd. You want information, find me. I will put you in touch with Carmen, or just call the folks over at Guam SDA.
No, actually, my number's there.
Oh, I've got your number.
You can give them my number, yes.
Oh, okay.
688-1762.
1762.
He's like, where is it?
Well, I didn't. I don't know. It's on one of these many pieces of paper. Hey, I got to go because the news is coming up in about 5 seconds. The radio station is KUSG. I've gotten you Ray Gibson and another hour of the program on the other side of that.
A global landmark scarred by fire. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Paris's fire chief saying the structure of the famed Notre Dame Cathedral has been saved despite a major fire that did significant damage.
It happened just after 6 p.m. in Paris, around 12 Eastern, after the cathedral had shut to tourists. It's believed to have started at the back roof of the cathedral under scaffolding which had been in place for a major $7 million restoration. It is not believed to be arson or terror-related. An hour later, thick smoke was billowing across Paris. Flames began to appear, engulfing that entire roof as the forest of wooden beams inside it took hold. Finally, the roof caved in and that famous spire that looks out over Paris crumbled.
Fox's Benjamin Hall. The Justice Department saying it'll release Special Counsel Robert Mueller's report on the Russia investigation to the public on Thursday morning. A redacted report will be sent to Congress. Mueller wrapping up his investigation late last month, submitting a nearly 400-page report to Attorney General William Barr. President Trump will have to deal with at least one Republican challenger for his reelection. Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld saying he'll challenge the president for the GOP nomination.
America has a choice. New Hampshire, 2019. A better America starts here. Bill Weld for president. Join us.
Weld releasing that campaign video a short time ago. Vermont Senator, Democratic White House candidate Bernie Sanders taking part in a Fox News town hall tonight.
Democratic socialism, to me, is creating a government and an economy and a society which works for all rather than just the top 1%. It means ending the absurd inequalities that exist today.
That town hall in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. This is Fox News.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll. Let's gallivant.
Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit gta.net for more information. GTA.
The woman charged with lying her way into Mar-a-Lago stays in jail.
Bond denied. The Chinese national who talked her way inside President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort will remain in federal custody. Prosecutors successfully persuaded the federal judge that Yujing Zhang is an extreme flight risk. Zhang had her bond hearing and arraignment today. A grand jury indicted her Friday for lying to a federal officer and entering restricted property. She's pleading not guilty to both. When she was arrested, Zhang was carrying 4 cell phones, 1 laptop, 1 external hard drive, and a thumb drive which contained malicious software. However, prosecutors now say in a second test of that thumb drive, it did not contaminate that second computer like it did the first. So it could have been a false positive. In West Palm Beach, Florida, Phil Keating, Fox News.
Officials saying the man suspected of throwing a 5-year-old boy off a 3rd-floor balcony at the Mall of America on Friday told police he went to the Minnesota Mall looking for someone to kill. Emmanuel Aranda charged today with attempted premeditated first-degree murder, the child fighting for his life at a Minnesota hospital. Singer Carly Simon pens a new book.
Carly Simon has a lot of famous friends. The singer, of course, was huge in the 70s and 80s with hits like You're So Vain, but she chose to write about her friend and former First Lady of the United States, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, as the subject of what she says is an intimate, vulnerable memoir. Simon and Onassis met at a summer party on Martha's Vineyard and began an improbable but lasting friendship, and Onassis became to Simon everything from a protective mother figure to a mischievous pal. Onassis died in 1994. Simon previously released a memoir on her own life, Boys in the Trees. Her latest, Touched by the Sun, was scheduled for October 22nd. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
At today's annual Boston Marathon, Kenyan's Lawrence Chirono winning the men's division. Worknesh Degefa from Ethiopia takes the women's title. I'm Paul Stevens. This is Fox News.
Hey, are you ready to afford the good life? For example, cooking in a gourmet kitchen that is as amazing as your skills. Or how about paying off tuition? Or maybe expanding your home to make room for your parents. Live beyond your dreams, within your means, with a low-rate home equity line of credit from First Hawaiian Bank. To learn more or to apply, visit any branch or FHB.com. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes.
That's what
Member
it is.
FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
9:05, portions of the Ray Gibson Show. The parts where I'm having the most fun are brought to you by these guys here. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. And King's Restaurant, where they're concentrating on feeding you really good food. It's that rich seafood, the bounty of the ocean that we get. 4 different ways, friends, to enjoy parrotfish at King's in Tamuning or Harmon.
Get a free Polar Pop, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get a free coffee, any size, when you fuel up on $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy. Get $5 off any Circle K car wash package when you purchase $35 or more of premium high-performance fuel. Conditions apply. See stores for details. Circle K. Take it easy.
Okay, portions of the program also brought to you by, who's left here? Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for your specialty care needs. Jen and Joey and Dunge at Cars Plus. That's a Jeep headquarters, you can tell. And they've got, can I just say this? I pass by there all the time. It's on my way home, right? They had the foresight, the vision to be able to say good things are going to be happening on Route 8. So they put the Cars Plus over there, and just right down the street is where there's going to be a new Payless. There's already a McDonald's. There's a KFC on the other side of the McDonald's. It's fantastic. But the point that I was going to make is you go by Cars Plus and take a look at the incredible Jeeps that they've got there, and there's so many different ways that you can do it. And I didn't realize so many different colors that you can get with some of these Jeep rides. So check it out today over at Cars Plus. Program's also brought to you by Wendy's, where they've got the North Pacific cod filet sandwiches, but they've made it a combo now that includes a salad and a refreshing, honest green tea. So try that for a limited time at Wendy's.
Rediscover Talk Radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
I'm sorry, that's moving music. The good doctor, Dr. David J. DeRose, MD, MPH, gave me a copy of the Methuselah Factor. Learn how to live sharper, leaner, longer, and better in 30 days or less. It's the longer part, isn't it? It's the longer part. I sent a picture to my daughter on Facebook of me crossing the finish line at the marathon, and I said, "Not bad for an old man." She's like, "Well, you're not an old guy," and I'm going, "Well, I'm 57 years old. My grandfather died when he was 59 years old. Now, arguably, he had a much tougher life than I did, having to survive the Second World War and life on Guam from 1916 on for 59 years." But I thought, well, how about that? And she says, "Besides, you're not allowed to die. You're not allowed." And I said, "Okay, I guess I'm going to stick around for a while. For as long as I possibly can." She said, "All right, that's good. That's good. So it there's a quality of life thing that you think about, but then there's the rest of it. I don't want to go. There's that song from the Asteroid movie that Aerosmith did. I don't want to miss a thing, and that's the trick, isn't it? Why don't you want to die? Because I want to see what happens here on the other side of this military buildup. I want to see who it is that my daughter ends up marrying. I want to see the end of all of these things, and I don't want it to be my own. So when we start talking about ways that you can live longer and better, and maybe it's stuff that you and I already know. Exercise in all things, get in some decent, moderation in all things. Get in some exercise every once in a while, and watch what you're eating, what you're drinking, who you're playing with, what you're smoking, those kinds of things. Just pay attention to all of that, and maybe you might go on to live a good and happy life. Or I might get hit by a car. It's one of those kinds of things. We'll see what happens. 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-255-888-TALK. And I haven't had a chance, with all of the guestages that have been in this morning, to go over the table of contents. But interesting guest. The doctor was interesting. The hour prior to that, and this is going to be one of those days where, if you tuned in late, you're going to want to check out the video on demand on Facebook or YouTube to see what you missed. But it is her name, Ronna McDaniel, who is the chairwoman of the Republican National Committee. She's here on Guam and was talking about, the Guam strategic value. Okay, that's good. There's a strategic value. Nice. It's a nice icebreaker when we start talking about Guam's value to the United States of America and how we might be able to lever a little bit of influence in national politics. Tip of the spear, military buildup, Anderson Air Force Base, big Navy hospital, and before long, Camp General Ben Blas, which is what they're going to call the laydown place for the Marines when they're all done with that. So, yeah, there's stuff happening around here, but there's stuff happening right now. And I don't know whether it's, I guess it is policy, Republican, Democrat, but, there are issues that we have with the federal government of the United States. And those are things that they're going to have to take some kind of partisan work on them. As we go through the process in Washington, D.C. I will say, I haven't played the video, but there's more video of Mike and Nicholas floating around online where he's talking to the big bankers in the United States of America, all the ones that were noted as too big to fail back in 2008 when they had the big financial meltdown across the planet. And they said, well, this bank's too big to fail, so we're going to bail them out. And they had a recent get-together in Washington, D.C., and Mike started asking him a couple of, I thought, interesting questions about how we might be able to wrangle different interest rates for different parts of the country. Okay. And so nice to see, number one, that he's looking at national policy that may have an impact not just on Guam, but other places, rural parts of the country, maybe not as much access to cheap money as you might find in some of the big cities. So he thought, let's see if there's something that we can do here in Washington, D.C., dealing with the Fed that might correct that particular issue. So that's what Mike's up to out there. One of the other big issues that we have with the federal government is how we calculate the cost of Guam's participation in the Compacts of Free Association, where generally, you get these citizens of outer island nations, and they say, I want a better life. I'm going to go find a job on Guam. Going to go school on Guam. Going to get to trade, all of that. Maybe get some health care on Guam. And the numbers over the years of people that have come to Guam and stayed, and in many cases have been a betterment to the community, is absolutely terrific. That is not to say that it has not been without its issues and some expensive issues. Education of migrant children, somebody got to pay for that. Food and books, space in the schools, new schools that need to get built up for a larger than normal population of our size. And then criminal justice system, health systems of care. There have been impacts to the island. And the biggest insult, I think, to host islands like Guam, Saipan, Honolulu, et cetera, and further into the west coast of the United States is they only set aside back in the day $30 million to meet all of the new obligations for these host islands like Guam, and that $30 million is for everybody. It's not like it's $30 million for Guam. That wouldn't be enough anyway. But so Guam only gets a share. It's a big share because we're the first destination. We're stop number one for a lot of these folks. And what did we get last year? 16 mil? Something like that. The calculations are it costs us in the hundreds of millions to be able to meet the obligations that are brought onto us by these other members of the Pacific community. But we've never been able to work an equation that makes sense to everybody. It's hard to tell whether somebody, even though they might have a Micronesian last name, Micronesian surname, it might be somebody that was born on Guam and now calls Guam home permanently because he'd never been to where the family originally came from. Right. So do we take that person and say that this is somebody that is causing an impact for which we need to be recompensed by the federal government?
Yeah. Whose idea was it to be part of this this program? Was it ours or the government?
Well, it's the federal government.
Oh,
no.
well,
So
okay.
So the strategic value is like Guam. The strategic value of all these different islands, right? So we want to have to be able to put the presence, the power of the federal government of the United States and even the military in all of these dots in the Pacific. And so there's a couple of ways that they saw to the needs of the people of these islands. One of them is just direct cash infusion. Yeah. You know, here's money. Right? Nothing. Money doesn't talk. Money screams. So they go, here's money. We're going to give you a million to a couple of $100 million, and we'll do schools and we'll do roads and we'll do hospitals. And as it turns out, some of these island nations are just as corrupt as we are. And so, so in some cases, you know, the money didn't go to the streets and the hospitals and the schools and things like that. So people found themselves needing. And another one of the deals that was made was, tell you what, we'll make it so that you can travel freely between here, your home island, and the United States of America. So get on a plane, get to California, find a job, you know, bring your family, do all of that stuff. As long as you're looking for work, as long as you're looking for school, shouldn't be any problems. And there are some requirements in the compacts themselves, but nobody's enforcing any of those things. I'll give you a good example, and I've seen the place in at least one of the treaties that would indicate that if a compact migrant got sick, they don't go to GMH. They go to Navy Hospital. But as far as I know, outside of, you know, maybe just critical care, as soon as they're mobile, goodbye, see you later. Take you to GMH. Take it someplace else. So it's not like they're getting all of their health care needs met by the federal government of the United States. So it's a tricky conversation to get into, and as I, you know, and maybe I've taken a long time to frame what the punchline is on this. But as much conversation as there is on it, we still don't have a method that is universally agreed on between Guam, Saipan, Hawaii, and the Department of the Interior to account properly for what these expenses are and how much they're going to compensate us at. And so I rise in support of my governor, Auntie Lou Leon Guerrero, and her decision not to submit, as usually required, a report to the Department of Interior. This makes sense to me. I'm not going to waste any time putting together a report that they aren't going to read. And it's like sending them an invoice, a bill that you know they're just going to crumple up and throw away. Oh, yeah, we looked at that. We danced long into the night when we got it. We thought how lucky we were that you remembered to send us this report. By the way, we don't agree with any of the numbers. We don't agree with the methodology with which you come up with these numbers. And so until we get all that right, well, I guess we're not going to be able to pay you back what you think you're owed. Here's $16 million. Go away. That's always the field that I get here when we have this conversation. And I'm pretty sure Auntie Lou feels the same way because she's decided that there's not going to be any kind of report. Good for you, and I hope they get the message in the Department of Interior. I hope they hear loud and clear what it is that we are trying to say, and maybe come to the table with a little bit more by way of. I don't know. If you've got some ideas on how you want to put the numbers together, then show us how to do it your way, and we'll send you a spreadsheet.
You ever go to your grandfather and say, "Hey, Grandpa, I'd really like to have that toy gun over there," and he gives you a dime and says, "Get a piece of gum instead." kind of the
like,
same thing.
yeah, you get that feeling. It's just completely unsatisfying. Hey, I got 10 A's on my report card. Well, that's a dime an A. Here's $1. But you know, my cousin's, he gets $5 for every A that he gets.
Well, go get born by her then.
Yeah, yeah. We've had that conversation. Who's playing around here? China making moves into Micronesia, money boats and land. Yeah. China's making a big deal about that. I'm sure there's going to be some other towards. You know what? I don't know. You know, there's a conspiratorial side that every once in a while will rear its ugly head. You remember a few years ago when Yap was? I mean, they were getting courted heavily by the Chinese. And we're starting to make it look like there might have been some kind of a change in the accord that existed between them and the United States of America. And I don't know whatever happened to that. I think at some point the boss of the shop down in Yap said, no, we're not for sale. Everything's going to be all right. But there was still in all, I want to say there was a typhoon, Dolphin, I think, was the name of it. The springtime strike went down and went over Ulithi. Outer islands in Yap, went over a bunch of these little atoll islands that they've got out there and just decimated the place. And I kept waiting for when the planes were going to take off from here, loaded with goods out to Yap to be able to support the rapid recovery of the people in these little islands that just got rolled over by the storm. I mean, and I knew guys. I mean, I was working ham radio with these guys right up until the winds got so big that they had to take the antennas down, and it took days for them to find something tall enough to be able to hang an HF antenna on. And so we were all kind of worried that these guys, had perished in the storm. Fortunately, that wasn't the case. But like I said, I kept waiting. Where is the response from the federal government of the United States? And you know what? It never came. And I thought, you know what, the reason behind this is because they were courting China so hard that the United States got jealous and said, oh yeah, so you're hurting now. You want FEMA to come and rescue you? Why don't you call your new boyfriend China, and maybe China can come down with their big fancy cars and their big fancy boats and give you guys assistance. We'll give you some new canned meats and stuff like that. That's what I think happened. Because there was, at the same time, I want to say there was an earthquake in Tibet. You remember those disasters that time? Yeah. And, oh, boy, I knew we were flying sorties out of here up there because, it's Tibet. Yeah. And it's, it's groovy, right? It's the hills, the Himalayas, they got the mountains and everything. So, everybody go get those hemp clothes when the plane lands. I don't know. It felt like it was the more fashionable response than to take care of the little brown people on the islands that couldn't grow anything now because their farmlands were all seawater beds now. Anyway, 9:22 in the morning, right? Sleeping with the enemy, says Pam online. Patrick Bomba's there. I see Ari Thomas and Darlene Bloss is online. Xavier Atalik, Karen Otiwi. Who else is playing around? Tommy Garcia. Good to see John Paul Calvo there. Frank Tangelin. Let's go run, bro. Brenda and Richard Sana. Oh, always nice to see that name online. Renee Lau is online as well. Joey St. Nicholas and Joe Cruz. I think I know that one. That might be the actual real Joe Cruz that works with Bob Klitsky in the afternoon. Gerard Estoy and Eddie Cruz and more. You guys got stuff to complain about. Go ahead and type it in on Facebook Live or send it to me on the WhatsApp, 988-5874. Again, that is 988-5874. I have not checked the actual international news in the last couple of minutes. I notice on Sky News, which is what we normally watch here in the studio, just because it's because you know what? Because A, it's not Fox, and B, it's not CNN. It's a whole other newscast from a whole other part of the world, and it's just as good for catching up on big stories. And I've noticed in the last hour or so, they have not shown, in the last few minutes, they have not shown a lot of video of the Cathedral of Notre Dame. As I was waking up this morning, there was already some stories floating around in the social medias and in my regular information sites that the building was on fire. And some very dramatic imagery that we saw as a result of that fire showing up on newscasts from all around the world. It's been up to including watching the spire at the front of the building when watching that fall, and that had almost the same feeling as I was watching that video of feeling the Trade Center. You remember when the Trade Center fell, when the first one fell?
Oh yeah.
Did that almost felt visceral? You could feel it from the inside. when and to this day, when I watch the videos of that, it's one of those feelings that it's hard to describe it. It feels like there's something sinking inside of you when that happens. I think mostly just because of the nature of that kind of mass, just the physics involved in watching a building literally shear itself off. Cut itself to pieces as it makes its way down. And there were people inside.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And the other thing that occurs to me every time I see that video is listening back to the live TV coverage at the time, and the people that were doing the play-by-play, so to speak, they could not bring themselves to say that that tower had fallen, even though they knew as it was falling, it was falling. It was clearly falling. I mean, there was no mistake. And if it wasn't clear the first time, the second
when the
time,
second one came down,
was.
Yeah, and then the other buildings beside it, it's just what a terrible disaster. It's funny how it pops back into our heads all of these years later. You realize how long ago it was in our memory as a country, and something that touched everybody's life. I think in the same way that there's something about the Notre Dame. It's just something that has been a part of global culture since ever since, right? And it's burned up, but. My guess is that they're going to start looking at the as-builts. They were under some kind of reconstruction and renovation at the time. So my guess is that they're just going to have to go backwards a whole lot more and start figuring out how we're going to put some more wood in the building. Yeah, Rudy says they said that since there was so much wood in the building, it will burn. But I mean, that's what they built with back in those days. They made things out of wood and backed it up with the rocks. But still, I think that there's going to be a time in another couple of years where we go, hey, look, it's rebuilt, and there'll be a grand opening, and people will remember the before, the fire, and the after. Telephone number here, in case you missed it, 888. I got to think about it sometimes. 888-255-888-TALK. You let me know. One of these days I'm going to go on the air and I'm going to give my actual phone number at the house. Yes, it's Ray Gibson at 888-8255. And then realize, wait, that's the house number. Oh, okay. It's all riffable. Everything is riffable, right? I was looking over at the legislature. And last week, or I don't know, maybe it was Tuesday or Wednesday last week. I don't remember what day it was. I was looking at the legislative website, and I realized that, oh, my God, it's been forever since Jimmy Moylan introduced a bill. And then I thought, well, it's been forever since anybody's introduced a bill over at the legislature. And they must have heard me, and now it looks like they've gone into overtime. We are now up to bill number 94 with about 100 days. In the 35th Guam legislature, we've got about one new bill per day that has been introduced. We are now up to Bill 94, which is a bill that has been introduced by Speaker Tina Rose Munya-Barnes. Relative to ensuring that the two most economical and beneficial health care insurance proposal plans for Government of Guam employees, retirees, and foster children are forwarded by the Government of Guam Health Insurance Negotiating Team to the Magahagan Guahan for consideration. And I don't know how to feel about this. We've been through, it's like with health insurance in the Government of Guam, been there, done that. We've had times where we've had multiple choices, a couple of choices for the employees, and different versions of the plans inside those different provider networks. And so you try to put together the one that makes the most sense for you, right? Because sometimes it's going to be, I've got a family. There's me and 4 or 5 other people that need health care. And then sometimes it's just you. So it's never been, one size fits all once you're inside the plan. So now they're going to make it so that, and it's basically just down to, I think the last 2, right, is stay well in the game. I don't think Netcare is. I think Netcare smartly bowed out of the process because they weren't getting paid anyway. And so they said, no, you guys can play out in your own. So it might just be Take Care and Select Care in the running. And of course now everybody, if you want to be a part of the game, now everybody has to be able to provide something over at Guam Regional Medical City. So is this going to complicate things? Is this pro Do we do this moving forward, or is this going to apply to current negotiations that are taking place? I mean, they just put out the bid invitations about a month ago for health insurance packages. So take a look at that. Bill number 94. There's a couple of others that I thought were kind of interesting and can riff on as well. An act relative to rezoning a family dwelling out in Manilao, which they want to turn into commercial for the purpose of establishing a medical clinic facility. This, again, also sponsored by... I was going to say Manila resident, at least the families from around there, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, who's the Speaker of the Legislature. All right, so we got somebody got a house, want to turn into something that will end up being a clinic, doesn't want to go through the Land Use Commission, so we go and find 8 people over at the Legislature that might be able to get in front of this and go faster. So I don't know. I'm all for people being able to do whatever they want to with their property within reason, but I don't know the neighbors of the place or how they're going to feel when they go, well, wait a second, we were all family dwellings around here, and now we've got 24-hour-a-day traffic with people going back and forth to the clinic and the drugstore around here. Sure is making our street a little bit busier. And that's something that you would have normally heard over at the Land Use Commission. Regine Bisco-Lee, relative to clarifying the application of the Guam Family and Medical Leave Acts. Sabina Flores with a bill relative to strengthening emergency procurement provisions and transparency and providing for emergency procurement for, are you ready for it? Threats to the environment. Oil spill. We'll put together a rapid response team, and we'll make sure that those guys are funded. What else? What else can we do? What do you get? You get the red dirt flowing in Seti Bay. What are we going to do? We'll put together a rapid response team and make sure that those guys are all paid for. Be righteous. And be the Army. Okay. And there's at least there's another really interesting one. I'll ask Josh about this when I get him on the line. But there's one here. Where they're talking about, there it is, bill number 87. Yeah, 87, relative to providing the Guam Visitors Bureau with the flexibility to continue to market Guam. I didn't realize that such a thing was in jeopardy. I'll pull up the bill while the commercials are playing. It's 9:31. That's iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about push-to-talk or mobile, even internet plans. Yeah, with iConnect.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walked in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Okay, I think it's coming up soon.
Yeah, we're in Route 1 and near the airport intersection, right?
There, see it? What's the promo code? Look for the promo code.
Check out the Vantage Digital Billboard and reap the rewards. Catch the promo code on the screen and get $10 off your stroll ride by inputting the promo code on the Stroll Guam app.
Did you see it?
You got it. I got it. You just focus on driving.
Take advantage today and take a look at Vantage Advertising's digital billboard located on Route 1 at the airport intersection.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Really now? This is it's the I'm sorry. I'm almost speechless here on the nature of this bill here for GVB, providing the flexibility to continue to market Guam, and at issue here is the use of cell phones, mobile phones in communications. We have over the years broken our back on who in what departments and agencies qualify for the ultimate perk of getting a government-funded cell phone. Really, guys? Really, is that what everything is coming down to now? So there are prohibitions apparently in the Visitors Bureau that don't allow members of the bureau to have access to cell phone communications funded for by the government of Guam, despite the fact that oftentimes, emergent times, somebody like Josh Tykenko might need to call Chief Joey Nicholas, Deputy Chief over at the fire department, on a mobile phone to say, it's burning, it's on fire, come and put it out. The tourists, and if we were to do that, he'd have to go and find the one last payphone in Tumon, which my understanding is, according to Mark Mendiola, underneath the lifeguard desk at EPAL Beach. Good morning, Joshy.
Good morning, Ray.
How you doing there, bud?
I'm a little overwhelmed with a lot of the stuff that's happening here. And then I heard you talking about this bill, which I wasn't aware of, so I pulled it up out during your break as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because you're wondering what is, are we not allowed to market Guam anymore? What bill? What does this correct here? All right, so maybe we'll yak about that here in just a second. But first of all, it pass along to everybody at GVB and United and the guys over at PIC. Outstanding marathon and bouquet of races over the weekend.
Yeah, congratulations to you as well. I understand you accomplished a great time, and I know you were feeling.
Well, I didn't get my goal time. I was so ticked off. I didn't get my goal time because it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot, and my coach said, don't go out fast, don't go out fast. And so I didn't go out fast. But then it was hot, and I got really tired, and I could never hit my goal pace. So it's like, okay, this sucks. All right. But I did get a PR.
Again.
No, and it was fun, and there was free beer at the end, which was perfect.
I know they kept announcing that towards the end, and I was like, I wonder if Ray is there.
That's what. Yes, Ray was there. Ray was unabashed. That's what. It's a good way to restore the electrolytes in your system. I don't know what I'm sure there's a good medical reason to want to have 18 beers after a marathon. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Outstanding job with that. Now you guys have got the Island Fair coming up next.
Yes, we have. We just sent out the vendor application, and we posted that on the corporate website. So, yeah, we're looking for different vendors for the 31st Guam Micronesia Island Fair. The theme is celebrating peace and friendship. Okay. And
always good.
Yeah, we're looking for the vendors because Guam Micronesia Island Fair starts May 29th all the way through June 1st.
It's a great way to bridge everything between the end of school and the liberation festivities. I think this is going to be great. So now when you say vendors, what in specific are you looking? Can Michelle Peer come down and show off her artwork as an example?
Yes, she can. I think in particular, they're also trying to define vendors for food and concessions. I believe that they're looking at, because the new location for Guam Micronesia Island Fair is going to be Plaza de España. It's kind of a limited space, so they're looking at food trucks. For
they already have that by the legislature, behind the museum. They already have the food trucky things.
Oh yeah, but specifically just for Guam Micronesia Island Fair for those dates.
Okay.
So the application's online, so you can go to GuamVisitorsBureau.com and then submit it, and the deadline for that is on Friday, April 26th.
Okay, but now food trucks, as you say, but remind me, what if I've got so I've got this idea to make sinahis with a little bowl on the inside and some holes in it, so you can use it to smoke dope too. Now, if I had a bunch of those, could I bring those down to the Island Fair and sell them?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
Because I'm making it from island materials.
I think that'll be up to. I think you should submit your application, and then it'll be up to the team to pick and choose which applicants are there. So yeah, if you have a business idea and just download the form and submit it.
Is there a cost to be a vendor?
Is there a cost to
Do
be
I have to pay?
There is an application fee and a deposit that are due, and everything should be on the download for application. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take a look. I'm not, personally interested, but I know that there are people listening that are that have got that entrepreneurial spirit and don't mind food trucking and pop-upping at the fair, and especially if you know that there's going to be a crowd of people showing up for some of the other activities and things that are going to be taking place. What are we doing for Golden Week besides what? Do you and Pilar have a plan to entertain every single tourist that's going to be coming from Japan for Golden Week?
Oh my gosh, yeah, Golden Week is pretty crazy too. This year is probably the best Golden Week that Guam has ever experienced.
Well, it's not 10 days. I mean, it's an entire week. It's 10 days worth of Golden Week.
It's 10 days. Yes, it's very true. Everything is centered around the series of holidays that Japan is giving this year, and it's especially great because they're having an extra holiday where the emperor's was the word abdicating his throne?
Yeah, well, basically he's giving it to his son.
Yeah, giving it to his son, which Pilar was mentioning in yesterday's press conference that has never happened before. Usually it happens when an emperor passes on, but he's still alive and he's going to pass it on to his son. So in effect,
well, we saw the same thing in the Vatican, kind of. We saw the same thing in the Vatican. The new pope is taking over for one that didn't die in office.
That's true.
So it's weird. We live in those crazy kind of times.
Yeah. So altogether, we're having like 68 charter flights from Japan during this time period, which begins April 24th through May 5th. So we're anticipating more than 11,000 Japanese tourists in 10 days, basically. So on average, we get about a little over 4,500 tourists a day here on Guam. So on top of that, we're having an extra 1,000 some visitors a day during that time period.
Did you tell them we got Jollibees?
I'm pretty sure they're going to be aware of it very soon.
I don't know. I just think that's kind of fun. So the gist of this measure here, because you're going to hang up the phone and then go to Pilar and say, "Did you see this coming?" But apparently somebody over at GVB has made a big deal about restrictions on travel. That is paid out.
I was reading through it, and I think this was when the law was passed last year that restricted GVB to traveling with just says the general manager or his designee,
right?
And only staff and then cultural performers, and so no board of directors, no one else other than that could travel.
Right. So basically, this looks a little bit more like a blank check for the boss. Travel to promote tourism on Guam, provided that such travel is paid for by the Tourist Attraction Fund.
Right, which basically would restore GVB back to what it used to do before, right? Like GVB could send its board of directors, or sometimes if it needed its committee chairperson from the legislature. They could go and represent the island, because then different travel fairs or different meetings, they would have their equal there. And so I think that was the reason why they wanted to basically go back to what it was before, because it was restricted last year when Public Law 34-116 was made into law. So,
right. And there's other language in 34-116 that spells out who in the government of Guam gets to have GovGuam cell phones. Right? That's the cool guy table. It is the equivalent of the cool kids table at school, is who got government of Guam phones. Because otherwise you can't as employees of the government of Guam can't just get a cell phone as part of their benefits package because cell phones are like incredible and they're expensive. expensive and the bandwidth is expensive and all of that. And so anyway, so they make it so that there's only certain people that have access to these phones. Anywhere where it's reimbursed by Fed funds, the governor, the lieutenant governor, speaker of the legislature, crisis hotline, law enforcement, public health and social services, mayors, vice mayors. Now, originally it did not have the Guam Visitors Bureau. GVB now is in there because, for heaven's sakes, there might a tourist might have a booger. And Josh himself might have to be able to make a phone call and get an ambulance or I don't know, just come up with some kind of bizarre and unusual tactic to be able to take care of tourism on Guam, and requires a cell phone for that. Now, the phone that we're on now is in the office, right?
Yeah, I'm calling you from my landline.
Okay, so but do you have a GovGuam phone? Do you have a GovGuam GVB phone?
I don't have a GovGuam phone.
But you're still capable of doing your job, right? I mean, if Pilar needed you, means she can call you on
the people here use their personal cell phones to make their calls. And I know that there's in the office no one has a government issued phone that.
So like if Pilar wanted to get a hold of you at 2:00 in the morning, and and now she's going to have a phone, but you might not. I mean, are you obligated to answer her on your personal cellular phone?
No.
No, this is no obligation, right? See, if she doesn't,
it's my personal phone.
So if she calls out to you, and you can look at it and say, "Oh, it's Pilar, it's work."
I would answer it anyway, right? Because that's what we do.
Because you're a good guy, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I know that we can't even call long distance. I think we have to use a calling card to call long distance.
Well, I mean, you need to. That's a throwback to the old days when long distance was expensive, and so every long distance. I mean, that was a major. Long distance and overtime were major leaks of money for corporations and companies. So they always said, okay, well, we'll give you a phone card and you can use this, but you got to log everything down. And I started I kept the log, but it was never anywhere near accurate. I just do it for the to get it through accounting. But so no obligation for you to respond if you get a work call on your personal cell phone.
Yeah, if it's after hours, then I mean it's up to the employee, right, to decide if they want to answer it or not. But of course, because we're all good team players here, we're going to answer. We're going to get things done, and we work weekends too. So
yes, there's that. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, dude, we gotta hang out soon. We gotta have a marathon victory party. All right.
I know we got to celebrate all your milestones this year. So
call Rose and we'll hang out.
Awesome. I'll let her know.
Dude, I'll talk to you pretty soon. All right, that's my buddy Josh. I can't go, and he'll take my phone call. He'll take our phone call for sure. So that's that. In a nutshell, what's going on over at GVB. We got the Island Fair coming up before too much longer. Everybody excited about the big Golden Week that's going to be coming up. Lots for the Japanese to celebrate by getting on a plane and getting out of Japan. So let's go to Guam. So if you're on Guam, could you do me a favor and just kind of look around? Maybe that's the word. The governor has got to come out with a note. Maybe just kind of we're not doing addresses from the governor's office yet, are we? I mean, the speaker's got an address. I think she did like 3 weeks worth of addresses, and then I think realized nobody was playing them because they were like 9 minutes long, right? But I was thinking the governor's office ought to be doing something along those lines, where there's the governor's address, because Eddie was doing them too for a while. And Eddie got smart. He made them like a minute and a half. Just, my dear people of Guam, and this is what I'm excited about, and congratulations to so-and-so, or, we're in mourning for this or whatever. But he got in, did it, get out.
I think Governor Leon Guerrero's addresses would be the shortest of all. Move on.
Move on, Frank. You lost, Frank. God, I love her. Even at the race, as they were kicking off the marathon, at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I could hear her.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, she was there to get everybody started. And she had the translation of her remarks was longer than her remarks.
Did they have a second tier of racers take off, say, at about 4?
Oh, they were launching them in about hourly.
Yeah, because I could hear her, literally. They were at Deep Owl Beach. I'm over on Oka Peninsula by the Payless. And you could hear the speakers from my back porch.
Yep, the sound system was that good that they put together that day. And so, like I said, she was there and she was cool. She was making jokes and everything. But like I said, short remarks. And so I just say it's time. We get Janella over at the governor's office. It's time for you to craft what I think would make some very, very interesting governor's address. And they don't have to be addresses. Please don't make them opuses. It just something as simple as, "Hi, this is Governor Lulian Guerrero. I'm at Adelup. And I sent Josh out for infusion and cupcakes. So while I got a couple of minutes, let me just talk to you about the Golden Week that's coming up. Parts of the island, some of the villages, down some of these roads look like crap. We have visitors coming. Clean up your crap. This is the governor. Thanks for listening. Something just as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, if you got crap in the front that you can't move, send the mayor. See what the mayor can do. Maybe the mayor can come over here with backhoe and get rid of some of the crap in your yard. And then bush cut and then mow, and then the place will look nice, and everybody will go, oh, what a nice house, because it used to look like a dump before. Right? See, now that's already too long. That in my mind would already be too long. Just, something simple from the governor. Just tell everybody, clean up your crap, because we got guests coming over, and we're already seeing a decline in the number of visitors from that country. This could be our last shot. Can you imagine? What the nature of what the hospitality industry would be if we were to for all intents and purposes, the last of the Japanese, right? All the old rich ones dying off. And their kids, maybe they've been around here already, but there's an old generation of people that aren't as thrifty as their parents and grandparents were. Came up in a whole different world, and might not have the same kind of thinking about Guam as their parents and grandparents did. I knew many people that tourists that came to Guam in the 60s and 70s, some of those first adventurous tourists, and they came to Guam because they were here from the war, and they wanted to see what it ended up looking like. And there's some that came because their dads might have been here in the war, and they wanted to see what finally became of Guam, especially the ones that lost family around here.
Yeah, see, that's a lot less likely these days, because Japan, culturally and through education and everything else, has done its best to put World War II way far behind.
There was a war.
Yeah.
We were in it. No, I don't remember that. So it didn't happen
like that.
Yeah. So like I said, the whole generation of kids that are growing up that don't necessarily have those same values and those same connections to Guam, and Guam's kind of an expensive place to come to. The cost of the airplane ride in comparison with going all the way to Hawaii, the cost of the goods and services once you get here, also a little bit expensive on the yen to dollar exchange. So we got to be very, very careful about that. And I think one of the best things that we can do is generally clean up after ourselves, and not just in Tumon anymore, because there's so many FITs, Japanese and Koreans, that are getting lost on Guam's roadways. And we got Yellowstone down in Kenyatta, and it would happen on a regular and I'm sure it happens more often now. It would happen on a regular where you got people that were driving on Route 8 and thought, hey, maybe that's where Kmart is, and turn into where Kenyatta Road is, and find themselves at a place called Yellowstone, Japanese asking the Korean guy for directions on how to get back to the main road. And I have taken people in my car. I said, okay, tell you what, you can come with me, you follow, and I will take you to back to the main road, and then from there give you instructions on how to get to Kmart or back to Tumon. Yes, I've done my part for the hospitality industry on more than one or two occasions. I don't even know where I got to this part of the conversation. Big Sister Shelley says, that is exactly what and how Auntie Lou should accomplish the weekly chat. 35, 45 seconds. You know what? And the beauty of doing something like that, while I'm thinking about, because they're a radio guy, right? The beauty of doing something on the order of, hi, this is Governor Lou. We got guests coming in. Pick up your crap. And thanks very much. This has been Governor Lou. Talk to you next week. We did something that short, 60 seconds, right? I'd play it 4 or 5 times. We're running instead of playing the PSAs in the newscasts, I'd run that.
Yeah, but she should do it in Chamorro and in mom style.
Well, if she does it at all, trust me, it's going to be mom style. You lost, Ray. You lost. Get over it. And she can do it in English and Chamorro. Right? I mean, we can do the Governor of Guam. We can say Magaga, whatever's clever. I
wouldn't even want to hear the English translation, because once she said it in Chamorro, mom style, I would feel what she said.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, you got to. What is it Jerry wants to know about? JQ wants to know what, aside from 94 bills in 100 days, has anyone looked at fixing past legislation? No. You know why, Jerry? Because they're not Ray Gibson. There's not one Ray Gibson over at the legislature. And if I was if I were to run for public office at the legislature, number one, there'd be so much crap coming out of the woodwork about things I've done in my life, it wouldn't even be funny. Right? I'd be Donald Trump shame before it even started. But if I were to survive that and actually get into office, my decree would be I am voting no on every measure. And they said, come on, Ray, you got to be flexible. You got to at least read the things before you say no. And then I'll say fine. I'll read the thing if you promise me, and I might even support it if it's something, you know, good for business, good for kids. I might even support it if you also bring with me 2 public laws that we can get rid of. So in the Ray Gibson administration, it would be one of those. I will think about voting for you, but you've got to show me 2 things that we can get rid of, just right now. And there is a little bit of that going on. There's a bill that came out where they were looking at a number of funds, special funds in the government of Guam, commissions, things like that, that are obsolete. And that's a good place to start. I'm not going to say that that's not worthy of the effort. It's a good place to start. Just clean off the books, dust off the old obsolete, doesn't make any sense kind of organizations and special funds that have been put together. That's okay. I'm okay with that. We'll make that part of the deal if you want to. Otherwise, you come at me with, let me see, where's a good piece of legislation here? Relative to exterior on-premise signage in H resort zones and defining digital signage. Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes has put this together. I'll give you a little bit more of the contents in just a second. And it might have the best of intentions, and my old classmate, Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes, might be absolutely dead on in wanting to introduce this kind of legislation. But for me, it's no. Until you come back to me with a couple of other pieces of legislation that we can put in a circular file. 9:55, I'll be right back.
Do you know someone who has difficulty following conversation in noisy places or turns up the TV a little too loud? These may be signs of a hearing loss. Ross Hearing Aids specializes in hearing evaluations, custom-fit hearing aids using the latest in wireless digital technology, and custom-fit hearing protectors. Call Ross Hearing Aids today to schedule a complimentary hearing consultation. 637-HEAR, 637-HEAR. Ross Hearing Aids, located across Shirley's in Harmon.
Ruby Tuesday's Seafood Sensations menu is back. Choose from your favorite dishes made with succulent lobster tail, shrimp, or our newest sensations with crab legs. Try out appetizers like crab fondue or stuffed shrimp. Pick an entree like the lobster tail or crab leg dinner. Select the lobster carbonara or the deep sea pasta. It's all ready and waiting for you. Get hooked on Seafood Sensations for a limited time only at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
Docomo Pacific's all-new business bundles provide tailored solutions to help your business become a better business. Choose from our Business Basic, Essential, or Value bundles and get unlimited talk and text, worry-free data at home and abroad, plus access to the fastest online speeds in the Marianas. Add on mobile or broadband lines and save up to 20% for each line. Email businesssales@docomopacific.com to find out which bundle provides the best solution for your business. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, that's interesting. And my cousin Richard Underwood says, "What's up, cuz?" From Vegas. And then he says, "It's awesome you're still on the radio. Definitely a childhood memory of mine. Always hearing." Well, I'm glad. I'm haven't really gone anywhere. Still in decent health and still have great memories as well. And sometimes those come to the fore. Pam Duvall asking if I remember the commercial. You should have said, "You asked for it, you got it, Toyota." Yes, I do remember the commercial. Big Sister talking about too many AOCs down there, talking about space cadets over at the legislature. I'm looking looking at the bill that Tina Rose has put out, I'm not sure that this is a measure I can get behind because I got a feeling that if we do it wrong, because it removes a lot of restrictions on-premise digital signage in the hotel region down in Tumon. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a whole lot of these digital signs down in Tumon. Obviously, you know, they're on premise, so they'd only be able to advertise what goes on in the buildings. But audio is going to be approved on this, so it's going to be videos and speakers. And can you? So I don't like the signs that are down there now. I think there's a lot more that needs to be done with signage. And I'm also ticked off because it would allow for something that I can't do up here. I'd like to put one of those big digital signs up on the front of the radio station, but because I'm in front of DPW, every single time I try to hang something on the outside of the building, I got a guy coming asking, "Where's my building permit?" Right? But if I was facing the other direction, if I was down in Tumon, if I was in town, then that same restriction would not apply to me. So I'm not sure. I think this is one of those things, if left unchecked, could be cause for the uglification of the Tumon place. So let's only do it near the strip joints and massage parlors. What do you say? 10 o'clock? Look at the time. 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, I had fun today. I hope you had a good time, too. Troy's apparently online somewhere, so dig around Facebook and see if you can find him. Otherwise, right-wing bomb throwers. We got Brian Kilmeade, Rush Limbaugh, and then the rest of the bunch back on the radio in just a little bit. We're KUSG Agano. Oh, Bob Klitsky, the judge. Here come the judge at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Be listening for that. I'll be back here with you with Kevin and Mike tomorrow morning. Until then, love you, mean it, bye.
Fire damages a French landmark. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Parisian officials and fire officials looking at damage from today's massive fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral as an accident. The iconic structure gutted by flames. French President Emmanuel Macron, through an interpreter, planning to rebuild.
The facade and the two main towers did not crumble. So tonight, of course, I would like to say or express my thoughts to Catholics in France.